here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
Hey y'all, welcome and happy Monday. Happy Labor Day weekend. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, hot topics, pop culture, and all that good stuff. So that's a show for you. Definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today. Including we got some Mortal Kombat news. So we're gonna get into that. You might have to wait a little longer to see it because they done changed the release date. Tori Spelling is opening up about auditioning for Scream despite being dissed in the original film script. We got to talk about Fifth Harmony making their appearance. I think they've been kind of broken up for 7 years, but yes, they made their appearance last night at the Jonas Brothers concert. Had all the nostalgic children gagging, so we'll get into that. Katy Perry is silencing her haters by revealing how much money she's been making from this Lifetimes tour and the ticket sales and things of that nature. Lil Nas' ex-father is sharing some additional heartbreaking details about his son's arrest. We got to talk about the writer of Lightyear, who's coming out throwing them bows over there at Miss Snoop. You know, his old coon ass. In regard, damn, look, not even 2 minutes and I'm already cussing. In regards of some of the tea that he's been saying regarding the LGBTQIA plus community, so we'll get into that. Plus the hypocrisies of the black community and their litmus test on, oh, y'all got issues with the gays, but y'all are okay with the gang banging and your sons being drug dealers and treating women like, you know, B's and H's and all that other stuff. Plus, we got to get into this Bruce Willis news. Apparently, the people are out here criticizing the wife for having them living in separate homes and all this other stuff going on with that. And speaking of frontal temporal dementia, which they've been claiming Wendy Williams has, she's spilling tea on regarding that, or whether or not she wants to come back to TV and is looking into other endeavors of making some money. So we have all that and coming up, as well as I got some news in regard to that movie. Remember the movie that Joaquin Phoenix was supposed to do, that the queer film with him and Danny Ramirez, and they were supposed to make, excuse me, they were supposed to make a movie and everything together, but then I think a week before they were supposed to go into production, he dropped out of the film. Well, that movie may not be dead after all, because I have an actor um who said he's interested in taking on the part. This is according to the trades and stuff. Now, I'll give y'all a hint. He's been in a lot of movies, and a lot of y'all saying he a little bit overexposed. So you might know who I'm talking about. I have claimed him as being my other piece. So we'll get into who that is. Plus, Jinkx Monsoon is opening up about which character she wants to play in the X-Men reboot. And Colman Domingo, I was like, damn, what happened? I almost lost my banners and things. Freaking out. Got it back. Colman Domingo was clapped back at haters for him appearing in Sabrina Carpenter's new video for Tears, which I'm actually loving that music video. We'll get into that. And Chloe Grace Moretz, she done married herself a woman. So we'll get into that and a whole lot more. So before we get to that tea, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash the notification bell. Um, so that way you know when we go live. I know I'm literally in the middle of doing this, freaking texting. Um, So yeah, hit that like and subscribe, all that good stuff, so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris I'm Unfiltered. After the live stream, I will be putting in timestamps. Y'all know the deal. So that way, because you know a lot of people want the timestamps and stuff in there. So yes, I put them in whenever I can get around to it, as soon as the live is over. So that way you could just follow along with the topics and stuff at hand. Please and thank you. And I'm sure y'all can probably hear it in my voice. Yes, my I have been under the weather. That's why I haven't been giving y'all a show in between working 7 days straight between the garden and I was doing City Field and stuff. By Friday, my voice was starting to go. Saturday, I had no voice at all. I was literally thinking about, you know what? Before I go do the Who concert, because I haven't given y'all a show in the past couple of days because I've been busy. And you know, around this time it gets crazy. And then the new season and everything is starting up. So I was like, let me just give the see if I can give everybody a shout. When I woke up the next day, there was literally nothing there. I felt like I was Ariel from the Little Mermaid, done gave my voice over to Ursula, so I can give me a man, and that way I can go and have legs just for a moment. And Yeah, I lost the voice and everything. And then I'm at work and people just like, and imagine working a concert where you're dealing with a lot of older people because you know the who's demographic. And you trying to work a show and you doing an event and people ask you questions. People, I can't find my this. I need help with this. I'm having issues with this setting because this person too big and I can't fit in this eat and there's no space. Like it's always drama with people. So when you're dealing in guest experience and that sort of thing, you're trying to do the best you can to help out. Trying to do that without no voice. And literally people are like, I can't hear you. No shit, Sherlock. I have no voice. So obviously, and yeah, I still went to work. I should have called in. I should have called in, but my ass was being greedy for some money. So yeah, I didn't call out. But look, by yesterday, it was a little better. I was at 75%. Today is way better, but you still can hear it that there's a little situation going on. So I might be coughing throughout the show. I may have to turn to the side and blow my nose and put the thing on mute. I got a whole roll of, I kid you not, I have a whole roll of toilet paper right next in case I have a situation because I'm not going to be up in here trying to read me talking about, oh, you got boogers coming out your nose. You know, it's always something. But yeah, so that's my little situation that's going on with me. Good thing is I got the little mute button that I can hit real quick. So you don't have to be hearing me coughing throughout the damn show. So I'm gonna be taking swigs of water. I'm gonna try not to talk as like as I usually do, as intense. I can't even find the words as I usually do, so that way I can give you all a show. I do see we got comments and stuff in the situation. We'll get to those comments in a moment. But before we get to those comments, let me just hit my banner for our first topic. Oh wait, speaking of which, I didn't even hit my see, look, it's been a minute since I've been on here. Forgot to do the show. And the cool thing is with StreamYard and all this stuff, I see that they added like sound effects up in here. I haven't even tested those out yet. So I don't even know if that worked. I need to try to test those out. I should have probably did that before the damn show. Let me see if this works. Yeah, I don't know. So I have to figure out how to work all that stuff out later. But anyway, I ain't got time for that. I see we got comments and things. Let me hit the banner and then let's get into our first excuse me, our first topic, which is a little we got some bad news for those of y'all who were looking forward to seeing Mortal Kombat. I believe it's supposed to come out next month. Yeah, it was supposed to come out next month because today's September 1st. Happy birthday to my cousin Esperanza. Mine's is tomorrow. So yeah, according to the word, I thought it was a lie. Then I saw all the big trays and everything was talking about it. So I'm like, oh, well, it looked like it's true. But yeah, so for those of you who are eagerly anticipating the second installment, look like y'all gotta wait a little longer. So it is now coming out in the summertime. And Warner Brothers and New Line, who are behind the film, they said that you're gonna have to wait until May 15th, 2026 instead of October 24th of this year. And they said, why is a highly anticipated sequel moving to next year after notching record views for a Red Band trailer? And so far, the number for that is 107 million global viewers have been watching this trailer. And it's because of that. It's because the anticipation is so high. The trailer did really well. They know that there's an audience out there that wants to see this movie. So the smart thing to do, in my opinion, would be to have it come out in 2026 in May. I think that's a perfect time for the movie to come out because I don't think there's that much competition quite as it's kept. I did kind of look at the list of movies coming out next year. Not all that excited. I mean, there's a couple of Marvel and DC stuff that's coming out. So, okay, whatever. If when it comes, it comes. But I'm not like I feel like this year there was a great list of movies that came out that I was excited about. 2026 is not really giving me what I need. I'll wait until next year to see what officially is coming out. Excuse me. But for the most part, I do see that there's seems like 2026 so far is a great year. Now, the thing about it, it's already overcrowded in October. Don't we have Tron Ares coming out? We got the Bruce Springsteen movie with Jeremy Allen White called Deliver Me from Nowhere, which is actually getting rave reviews. They've been showing stuff at the Venice Film Festival. They've been premiering a lot of movies. Dwayne Johnson's getting a standing ovations and stuff for his movie that's coming out. So and then there's another movie called Regretting You. I have no idea what that is. And then also it's coming out a week before Halloween. So when you're putting out a big action movie that's being promoted by Warner Brothers, and look, Warner Brothers so far has been on a winning streak. It's been a great year for them between Sinners, and most recently, I'm not going to name all the movies, but they've been involved in a lot of films. Sinners was like the big point of like it knocking it out of the park, and they've been consistent. Of course, we had excuse me, um, damn, what was the other movie? Final Destination Bloodlines. Then most recently we have Weapons, which is number one at the box office again. It's been like a really dry weekend in regards of big movies and stuff for Labor Day. So Weapons did really well. Um, the 50th anniversary release of Jaws beat Caught Stealing and whatever other in that other movie, The Roses, at the box office. Those two movies look interesting to me, but not enough for me to want to go see it and even use my A list situation where $27 a month, you get to go see a movie by using your whole A-list situation. I don't have to actually pay for a physical ticket. So it was like, oh, this one, the ones you want to use towards your A-list? Yes. And then I picked that. I was like, I ain't trying to use that for that. Now, this month is a much better movies that's coming out that I'm excited about. But for the most part, yes, Mortal Kombat is coming out next year. I do think that is the smarter move to make because, like I was saying, it was like all these other movies that's coming out, and Warner Brothers been on a winning streak. That you don't want to get lost in the shuffle. And it's like, okay, so Bruce Springs, I mean, and like towards the fall, like in the early woes of fall, like October, we already know it's like for horror movies. September is like, you can start throwing out your little Oscar buzzy movies and things and all that other stuff out. November and it seemed like November, December is like the second running of like the summer blockbuster because then they start rolling out the bigger movies. Like we have Avatar coming out in December and a bunch of other stuff. So it seems like we get like two big blockbuster years, one in November, December, and then again with the summer situation. So yeah, so they like I said, they've been having a lot of major streaks and things, and they said the three Mortal Kombat movies from New Line have minted 257.8 around the globe. So yes, it is highly anticipated. The trailers look really good. To be honest, I actually like the fact that they have Carl Urban coming in as like a washed up Johnny Cage or whatever, like some old washed up 90s action star who gets another lease on life through the Mortal Kombat situation. But then somebody said something that really made sense. They were like they would have actually liked to have seen um oh my god, what the hell is that actors, the one that damn, I forgot his damn name. There was like this big action movie star that they wanted. They was thinking that would have made a perfect Johnny Cage, but I don't know if he could do funny. There was a rumor or whatever going around that they wanted him to play um and I see his name and I see his face in my never mind, because I see his face in my head, but I cannot remember his damn name. But I mean, I like him. It does look a little weird where it feels like they took a CGI version of his face and put it on a bunch of other action people that could step in and do the stunts or whatever the case is. It don't really look like that's Carl Urban doing the stuff, even though I did like his take on Judge Dredd. And I'm hoping that we get a sequel out of that. But for the most part, um, I don't know why I cannot think of his damn name. It'll come to me. I don't know why. I'm thinking of Frank Grillo only because there was a story that came out with him where he was comparing the MCU and the DCU and all that other stuff. But watch it come to me later on when it comes to him. So anyway, so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the movie. I'm glad they pushed it, even though I'm really upset that I can't see it now. I can wait a couple of months longer. We waited this damn long, right? So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? He does the actor that I'm talking about, he actually played, I don't know why it's not coming up. Let me look it up real quick because it is going to bother me until I can remember his name. Um, and I know which cat he played Killer in John Wick. Scott Atkins. Why did that name not come to me? I don't know why. And I've been talking about him so damn much. So yeah, there was a story going around that people was like, they wanted Scott Atkins. He would have been a perfect person to play Johnny Cage in this movie. And to an extent, I kind of agree because he is in his late 40s. He does really cool, like he really steps up and still does the martial arts and all that other stuff. I don't know. He's been in so many straight to streaming and straight to DVD flicks. And yes, he's jumped in every now and again in big blockbuster Hollywood movies. But I don't know. know off the top of my head, and maybe y'all can correct me in the comments. I don't know if he can do like big action, like not big action. What am I talking about? Big comedy stuff. I don't know if he could do funny. I don't know if he could drop a one-liner. I would have to hear that to know if he could actually pull that off. But knowing that he could pull off the action and stuff, and we could really invest in that, it's like good. But I feel like for some reason this movie's going to take me out of certain situations. I'm like, okay, Chad, I know he ain't doing all of that, but maybe that's the whole fun, and that's the point of the whole thing. And I'm glad that they're relying more on a bigger name like a Call Urban versus when y'all were trying to. And I love Louis Tan, but that the him Nicole Young thing, it was just not working. He's not, he's a good action movie person. He just don't have that lead actor situation. He wasn't strong enough to come in to kind of carry this franchise. So to focusing on Johnny Cage, in my opinion, was the smarter move to make. So yeah, I want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding Mortal Kombat being moved to 2026 in May instead of coming out in October? Are you upset about this, or you think it is a smart move? Because it's. I mean, when you look at a movie like Mortal Kombat, it's got summer blockbuster written all over it. Excuse me. So it makes perfect sense for them to release it around that time. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right. It's my man's best friend review. Thought it was all right. I expected more. I feel like the videos are pretty much gonna sell the music. It wasn't anything I kind of expect. I kind of got bored with it, like sonically, and I'm like, "Chad, this ain't for me." Even though I'm hearing like people saying, "Oh, she kind of made it to kind of pander more towards the Gen X or whatever the case is," and I'm like, "Really?" Because I'm not getting that. I'm getting dry. I'm getting bored. I'm like, where's the BPMs on this? I need an 808 drum. I need something. So you can make a little quirky little, lyrics and all that other stuff, and that's cute or whatever. But yeah, Sabrina Carpenter is like, it's cute. I'm sure that she'll give a good show live, and the videos have definitely been serving because I like the new video with her and Colman Domingo and the whole, Rocky Horror inspiration. But collectively, I got bored with the album. Even I made it look, I think I made it all the way to like track 7. And I was like, okay, I'm done. I need something to keep me in the mood. So yeah, that I guess that's my review. I see comments that the industry, child, you can't write complete sentences. These said the music fans feel the industry needs to allow album cycles to continue, especially since Sabrina fans feel robbed about Bedcam. Why would the album era be over? She's doing albums. She's not a sing. I don't think she is a singles artist. And is that artist is on tour shouldn't mean it's over. Little Monsters are severely upset tracks that Gaga promises singles. First of all, you want to know something? There's been a uptick in Gaga songs that I was hearing about. Um Garden of Eden and Zombie Boy. Those particular songs that have skyrocketed on Spotify because people have seen the tour and they like the song. So because and I always said this, I'm like, you don't really need to be releasing singles and all of this. You can just put out a whole record. The record and the radio is dead. Nobody really listens. Who listens to the fucking radio unless you're old? Um a lot of the non-singles are actually doing better than her actual singles. It's doing better than Disease. It's doing better than Abracadabra. And she's touring with these other songs from the Mayhem Ball, and those songs are resonating more with the fans, especially like, yeah, the performance of Garden of Eden. I remember when I was working on the 8th floor because I had like the section which is direct outline on the stage. So I got to see everything. And that was the one I was telling you, like, I got to see like how the because she has like the runway, which is actually LED screen, and how that all worked, and the visuals and all that other stuff. Like you really need a center seat to be able to really capture the full essence of the Mayhem Ball. And I remember before when the people started coming in, there was some because we had like a little section that we would put people on the right of me, where if you had like a seat obstruction, whatever it was, whatever issue it was, you know, the managers and I, we were all working together. It's like, okay, we'll put these people over here. He will let me know that, this is what we put in people. I'm like, okay, fine, cool, whatever. So on that side, that's where we put all like the emergency people. On the other side, we had an SRO section. So like if you wanted to just come and just stand the whole damn show, you had a shitty section or whatever. If you could squeeze up in there, you could do that. So long story short, there was a couple of people, of course, there was the homosexuals and a couple of girls started doing like, if y'all seen the videos and stuff online, if you've been to the tour, towards the end of the Garden of Eden when they do the whole little that breakdown dance and then they turn and hit the floor and then Gaga holds that pose for like a good 3 minutes. Well, maybe y'all don't get all of that when you watch the videos. If you go to the shows, you get to see all of that. But that whole breakdown dance, I'm sitting there on the side watching the white queens up in there doing all of that. So clearly the tour and everything that's going on with that, those songs are resonating with the people. So you don't necessarily, and that's why I keep telling people, they're sitting up here and say, oh, you need radio. Fuck radio. You don't need radio. If you have that much of an impact as a mainstream artist and you on tour and you got fierce choreography and you giving a good and you're selling the show. I mean, Madonna was doing that, where she was taking a lot of those non-singles and finding and creating a whole situation around those songs, and we started liking the non-album tracks more than the hit songs that the label wanted to release. So, um, I don't know why the fans is getting upset. Try to find money to go to the mayhem. But speaking of which, yeah, let me tell you something. One of my coworkers pulled up. She was like, "Guess how much a ticket is for this upcoming week?" Because she is coming back to New York to do the Saturday and Sunday show, which I find it funny. You know what, MTV, y'all think y'all slick, and yeah, I'm calling you bitches out. Y'all say, oh, she gonna take the MTV stage. No, she not. Cause how she gonna be over in Long Island and astral project her ass to freaking Midtown Manhattan? But while the VMAs is going on simultaneously with her concert, why y'all lying to the people? We know damn well y'all pre-recorded it, or because I don't even know if it was actually the whole garage thing that was done. Because I haven't heard anybody from my job talk about that. And where were they planning on doing it? In the garage with the thing down, or you were going to do it outside on a little parking lot situation? Or you got people standing around and in the background, and that's the audience. Like, I don't know. I haven't heard anybody talk about this. And then, of course, if you're gonna be doing that, they're not gonna. I don't know if they would want to put that outside because then it'll get leaked. People got phones outside the building. They'll be out there filming it. We would have seen it online by now. So I don't know if that story is actually true. I think what's probably gonna happen is she's gonna put in specifically if you come to the New York show, which would be smart on her part, that they will tell her exactly at what time she's going to be performing or they're going to go live with the whole MTV situation, and she is going to premiere that Dead Dance song and perform it at the show, which I will be at because yes, I'm working the final two shows at the Garden, and I will spill that tea and let y'all know on that Monday all that went down. So, um, MTV think they slick. So you said, but she willing to promote Wednesday with a song that I heard nobody is carrying the season up. Yeah, I haven't even honestly, and I think that the new season comes out on Wednesday, right? Funny. Wednesday coming out on Wednesday. I just realized that. Could have said the third. And I'm sitting there like, I don't know if people I heard a bit of that dead damn okay, whatever. It sounded like a cutting room floor track, like a track you were gonna put on the album. And it was like, it doesn't feel like it fits. Kind of like Die With a Smile. But because Die With a Smile was doing all that, was doing bigger than all your other previous singles, you wanted to capitalize. So you threw it into the show. That's what I believe. You can't tell me otherwise. It just kind of gave that with the promotion. But yeah, I'm not feeling this song. Is that made sense to break apart shows in 14 episodes in two different places, but 8 episodes. No need to do two parts. Uh-huh. Especially in New York. The temperature has dropped so drastically in the past 2 weeks. It's like literally it's been like 65. Like it feels colder. And I think the worst part is it be cold outside. Then it's also um inside of the garden, it is so cold in there because they be having the AC pumping. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, they're putting down the ice for the Rangers. So I understand like with that. And the subways, when you get on the subways is always hot as hell. because apparently, our infrastructure is shit. But I don't know why they always have people doing construction in the New York City subways, and it still look like trash. So it was like, what the hell are y'all doing? Just milking the clock? That's what I feel like a lot of these MTA people that be working midnight or whatever, and it be taking me forever to get damn home because we got to take our space for what? Ain't nobody on the tracks doing shit. So y'all it's all performative. And then when you get on the train, it's freezing. So it's like it's nonstop with the cold. And I think it just got me. And plus, people are nasty. Nobody washes their hands. People, people coughing, not covering their mouth. It's like people are nasty out here in these streets. They said, we are going to find out you know who. I ain't touching that. But I think either he is unalive or he had a couple of mini strokes. But when you full of that much hate and energy, what do you expect? You want to pop a vessel in your head, kind of like Tatiana Maslany in The Monkey. If you've seen that movie, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I'm going to have to be sipping on some. Well, I should have had some tea though. And he said this will build anticipation for its release, especially Johnny Cage being in this one. People just want original stories because these IPs, it depends on the IP. We've been getting a lot of original stories and people have been resonating with the original stories. The problem is that you have long in the tooth IPs that people no longer care about. I think people are getting kind of tired of the whole MCU situation. It's old. Y'all flying by the seat of y'all pants, according to Frank Grillo. I don't think that's a good idea. It's like they're literally writing the script as they go along. I don't like that because it's like, well, damn, there's really no point in me even reciting or memorizing the stuff because I could just put an earpiece in my ear and you feeding it to me. Like, no, y'all a mess over there. And Kevin Feige refusing to take responsibility for the shit that he does. Well, if she ain't selling, I wouldn't come back either. So if y'all want to go see Kylie, y'all know, well, the good thing is I live in New York, so I ain't got to worry because she'll definitely sell out here. Um, oh, you said mostly because if the disco and country fusion, it may not be banger after banger or become a pop Bible like its predecessor. Well, you know what? I'll actually give it a chance. Maybe, and I've always had situations where I go in with an expectation for a record, and when it doesn't meet my expectation, I shit all over it. And then I give it a couple of weeks. I'm like, you know what? Let me get this album again or again and see if I feel the same way I felt when I first heard it. And then when I go back and listen to it, I'm like, you know what? Now that I've given it a chance, I can appreciate it more. So I'll listen to it, but not right now. I need a moment. People are upset. Hmm. Well, look at this point. She's been planning on releasing singles. I feel like she's probably just gonna put out videos with a visual concept and that sort of thing, and that'll be the singles. Sabrina did say something along the lines that maybe one day I'll wake up and make a Juno music video, perhaps for a 5-year anniversary. hmm The Apple TV K-pop mixes. And funny enough, I think like Madonna, you really need to go on these type of shows. You need to be doing K-pop. You need to be doing Drag Race. You need to be doing a lot of these shows where you're reintroducing yourself to a younger generation. She won't do it. She collaborating with some dude I ain't never heard of. Okay, well, when I see the pictures, then I'll feel a different type of way. But you're not doing what needs to be done. I mean, you thinking by collaborating with Maluma tied ass, Takesha thirsty for attention, wanting ass, these other non-relevant ass, um, mid ass. Yeah, there's a lot of ass in this sentence. Artists that nobody cares about is gonna get you attention. The best one you worked with, okay, was I mean, I hated that vulgar song. That song was terrible. But I do agree that you working with The Weeknd was smart. I think maybe she should have worked with The Weeknd on helping her lyrically and production wise on her new music. I mean, I understand Stuart Price, we live for him, but I do like Popular. That is a cute song. All right. He said, you at least listen to track 11 of the album House Tour. I've seen so many people compare that song to Janet and Prince. Well, you know what? Like I said, I'm gonna have to give that album again because I don't remember it. I think maybe because I'm so caught up in this whole Ava Max situation, but I'm just like in the mood for vapid, you know, beat music. I was like, yeah, I'll listen to it again. He said, I like the track Never Getting Laid Again and the drag of abstinence. It is. That's what conservatives be teaching their damn kids. Why it is a scared. At this point, you don't really need to write, but she's a control freak. She wants to have a piece of every damn thing. Instead of just being like, you know what, I'm at a point in my life, send me some good shit. Like I'd be like that would be the type of pop artist I would be if I was a pop artist at a certain age. I'm like, can y'all just send me some music? Can y'all send me like get Justin Tranter in the room and start helping me, come up. I got some ideas. Let him write it down, craft me some songs. And then who are the producers? Me having my ear to the street and knowing like who the hottest producer, not the hottest producer of the moment, but those who really I'm resonating with production wise. And who are these people that I'm working, that I would want to work with as an artist? And those would be the ones that I would want to collaborate with. Because, I've been out here listening to a lot of music. Like what was it like Gorgon City and Monchak and a whole bunch of other artists. Like I've been living for a lot of like I listen to a lot of producers. I listen to a lot of DJs and stuff, and be like, oh, they sound pretty good. That I would want to listen to. I don't necessarily know if they're good at producing, but I know that they can. That is a difference between being a DJ, being able to like mix on one and twos and DJ, or if you actually could be a producer. And producer is not only just about making beats or whatever. It's like it's also having a good ear for stuff. And one of the things I've always been good at is instinct and having a good ear. And I mean, I may not be good at playing instruments and stuff. The one instrument that I played when I was a kid was classic piano, and I'm still beating myself up over it. The fact that I didn't keep it up, and I should have did that. But if I got I got a good ear for what sounds good and all the other stuff, so that works to my advantage. Whereas some people are very technical and all that other stuff, but I go based off of hearing and instinct. I said, yeah, major labels don't see it for her. Yeah, she keeps living in this old guard way of wanting to do stuff, and Madonna needs to get with the times, or get with the times, or get left behind. Basically, at this point. But anyway, let's get back into the show because we are a half hour in already, and we haven't even gotten to topic number 2. Excuse me. All right, so let's get into our second topic, and let's talk about Tori Spelling, who was opening up about her Scream audition, because I don't know if a lot of people knew this, but Tori Spelling, once upon a time, about 30 years ago, because that's the point, because I was going to say not that long ago, but 30 years is a long time, Chad. But yeah, so about 30 years ago, or maybe longer, who knows, depending on when you go from the process of auditioning to actually getting the part and the movie getting made and how long it takes for it to come out and all that other stuff. So it could have been like, yeah, it could have been around this time. So the movie came out in 96. We're talking about 95. So that's probably when all this stuff about Scream was buzzing about, the scripts and everything. And she went on a recent podcast. I was trying to see which it's called Break It Hate to Break It to You, or Break It to Ya, if you want to be specific. And it's actually hosted by Scream alum Jamie Kennedy. So yes, Randy Meeks from Scream, the first 2 Scream movies, has his own podcast. And one of the funny things about when you think about Scream and seeing the first one, there is a line in the film where Tori Spelling gets dissed. But I guess they were talking about like who will play who in the movie. And she said, well, my luck, Sydney says, well, my luck, I'll probably get Tori Spelling, which of course was a little read. But she said she didn't take it personal, especially because she auditioned for the movie and saw the line in the script making fun of her. So in the 1996 slasher, Sidney Prescott, played by Neve Campbell, is talking with her best friend Tatum Riley, played by Rose McGowan, and Tatum's deputy sheriff brother Dewey, played by David Arquette. Tatum suggests that a movie should be made about Sydney's life, to which he responds, like I said, with my luck, they'd probably they'd cast Tori Spelling. Spelling went ahead with the audition, although her manager suggested she should pull out. She said, quote, excuse me, my whole life has been a diss. So like self-deprecating came at a young age to me. Like because people made fun of me like that. I look at that and I wasn't like, oh my God, that hurts. I was like, oh yeah, story of my life. That's funny. I get it. I'm there. The true Beverly Hills star did not get Scream, but being a good sport helped her land a small part in the sequel, which, if y'all remember, it was her and it was Owen Wilson, right? Where they both where she played Sydney in the Stab movie, and he played um Skeet Ulrich's character, Billy Loomis. And I thought that was hilarious that they kind of did a movie within a movie type situation. It was like, oh yeah, with her luck, she probably gets Tori Spelling and she wound up getting the part. I noticed she had the red hair, which I'm kind of wondering. I think that was around the time where she also filmed Trick, if I'm not mistaken, which I love that damn movie. And I loved her in that part. So they said when director Wes Craven offered her the cameo, he explained that the Scream team had nothing against her. The actress reassured him that she thought it was a funny gag and was excited by the idea of working with him, saying, I think he thought I was going to be offended and like I would never do it. She said, meanwhile, I was like, I wanted to be done. I'm in. Like, this is amazing. So, all of the fact when celebrities can be I just realized I didn't even have the picture in. I like the idea when celebrities can come in and be big sports about or good sports about certain situations. I think it was pretty funny. Like if somebody said something like that about me, I wouldn't take it personal. I'm like, oh, look, you're part of the conversation. You're in the zeitgeist. They made a joke, and then in the sequel, they um they used you because they're looking at her as some sort of a I had to call up, sorry. They're looking at her as some sort of a lower tiered actress, I guess. Nobody was really taking Tori Spelling seriously as an actor or trying to even navigate in this whole situation because of who she is and who her father was. And her father was Aaron Spelling, one of the most successful TV producers in the industry. Like he had so many shows. It was like, Beverly Hills 90210 and Melrose Place and Models Inc. and so many other shows. Well, didn't he also do like The Love Boat and so many other great shows that came out during the era. Aaron Spelling was out here making really good sudsy television. And we were all, when I was young enough, I mean, I was too young to watch Beverly Hills 90210, but I would sneak and watch it every now and again and Melrose Place and all these other things. But yeah, so I totally get, where they were coming from with that. And I'm glad that she was a good sport in regarding playing Sydney in that film. And it'd be interesting if they would decide to use her in this whole thing, but I don't think they will with this upcoming movie. But speaking of the upcoming movie, let me tell y'all something. So apparently, there was some tea that came out in regards of what we could be expecting from the upcoming trailer. So if y'all don't want to hear it, um, I suggest y'all mute your little situation. Everybody on mute. I don't know why I can't. Oh, I got it. So yeah. Hold on, let me put this spoiler alert. So yeah, there's rumors going around that when we get the upcoming trailer for Scream, that some of the tea that's coming out. I didn't go and get all the information because I didn't want to know too much, but they're basically saying what we can expect from the upcoming trailer is the fact that there's a couple who actually ends up going and renting out an Airbnb to go, I guess, just with regular Airbnb, like people hanging out and stuff. But except this is not some ordinary Airbnb. This Airbnb turns out to be Stu Macher's house. Now, remember the last time we seen somebody who actually lived or stayed up in Stu Macher's house, it was our girl from Scream 5, Amber, played by Oscar winner. Oh my God, how did I forget that child name? Mikey Madison. So yeah, remember that she was the last one that lived up in the house, and we kind of had that whole full circle moment coming back to Stu's house and stuff in Scream 5, which they decided to call Scream. Whatever. So there's this couple that stays up in there, I guess, maybe because and they do all stuff like that where people like to go to houses and things of like where killers and things live. They're like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to stay up in here and take pictures, blah, 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 whatever. So they've turned into an Airbnb. Then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose and things of that nature. I do think that's a really cool opening, but my wonder is, which basically takes us back to Woodsboro briefly. I don't think Sydney lives in Woodsboro anymore based on some of the stories that we've heard, but apparently she doesn't live out in Woodsboro anymore, and they're going to be taking us to a whole new town, which is cool. My only gripe is, okay, so this couple getting unalived at Stumacher's house, what was their connection to Sydney Prescott? I'm wondering if one of the girls who was taken out happens to be a friend of Tatum, who is the daughter of Sydney Prescott. Because people, there's a something going around that her name is not Tatum, it's Taylor and all this other stuff, but turns out her name is actually Tatum in the movie. They've just been trying to come up with code names or whatever because they don't want to throw people into the situation. But I think that's a smart move to be like, okay, to pay homage to my best friend from the first movie, I named my daughter after my best friend, played by Rose McGowan. So why not do that? And then it was saying something other that she gets a phone call, and Sydney does, and then all of a sudden on the other line, I think it's like a FaceTime phone call, whatever. And then she picks up, and it turns out to be Stu. And for the rest of the commercial, the trailer, Matthew Lillard is narrating, so we're not getting Roger L. Jackson doing the voiceover, whatever. It's um it's Schumacher kind of like taunting her and this that, and the other. So some people think like, oh, it's an AI situation. There's a deep connection. It's not necessarily about Sydney. It's about her daughter. So there's all these other rumors and things that's coming out. I didn't want to find out the overall ending of what happens to this couple or whatever. I'm hoping that this is sort of like a double situation, like in the scene from when you watch the trailer for Final Destination Bloodlines. A lot of people who watched that trailer actually thought that characters were going to die the way you saw it in the trailer. Then when you watch the movie, it's like, wait a minute. Oh, so that's not how they died. They died actually this way. So I wonder if there was like just to do a deep fake with the trailer, you're not necessarily spoiling how these people died. They actually died a different way versus the kills that you see in the movie. So I feel like with Scream, you have to do that because you don't want to give away too much of your things. You give them things in the trailer. It's like, okay, this is stuff that we cut out that looks like it would be interesting in putting here. Or we kind of did like different iterations of how we kill these kids. So that way, if we're going to build this trailer, you're thinking you're going to see this in the movie, but you're not necessarily going to see it. Some people will probably feel misled, but oh well, because a lot of y'all like to run up on social media and spoil stuff. So that's what I would do. And then they're saying, so there's two things that's going to be going on. One, Tatum and her friends are going to be dealing with a ghost face trying to stalk them. And then you have Sydney and Gail who are going to be doing their sleuthing. And they're trying to find out who's the bottom of this situation. Why is she being taunted by killers from her past? And what is this whole connection to the situation? So a lot of people, so I'm like, I think that's a great thing. It's like you have the girl, Tatum and her friends going on doing their own thing. And then you have Sydney and Gail sleuthing, and this and the other. Well, I'm also hearing T that Sydney finally gives Gail her very first exclusive interview. It took her 30 years to give it to her, but nevertheless, she finally gets her exclusive interview with Sydney Prescott. So I'm looking forward to seeing the movie. I didn't want to find out too much tea of what was going on. This is the rumors that's floating around, excuse me, on social media. So I'll definitely keep you guys abreast of this as it develops. If it comes out too much spoilery stuff, I'm not going to be digging any deeper. But this is what they're saying is to be expected from the upcoming trailer. So this is what the rumor is. This hasn't been confirmed by the studio. So yes, I'm taking it with a grain of salt. But um I'm actually looking forward to seeing the trailer. We should be getting it soon. If not this month, we should definitely be getting it next month because the movie comes out in 6 months, right? Well, 5 months because we're in September. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding the Tori spelling stuff and some of the stuff that is floating around regarding which we could be expecting from this upcoming Scream trailer? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. And Madonna won't do podcasts because they will take the sheet of what's not allowed to be asked. And well, if you go and call her daddy and you go on some of these other ones, they'll definitely follow the script. They'll definitely be a kiss ass. So there's plenty of people not, there's a lot more Jimmy Fallons out here than you realize. Trust and believe. And a lot of them want that moment rather than really coming in and giving real good interviews. That's why I like the fact about Kurt Loder. Kurt Loder would get those exclusives, but he would push back a little bit on her. Or Madonna knew she needed MTV just as much as MTV needed her. So there was like a, I heard Emma Roberts might be going back as well. Hint why it's February. They want all the Ghostface Sydney's dealt with. Yeah, I've heard stories that she's running around in it too. I heard stuff is leaking because of test screenings to the point they feel, well, I've been saying this. It's like, stop doing test screenings because you can't stop people. Who are these people that you're inviting in there? If you're doing the varieties, the Hollywood Reporters, if you're doing that, they'll keep it quiet because they're cut to the studio. They need the studios in order to get the exclusives. Hence why they always um drop stuff, because when the studios say it's for them to drop, they don't like the Jeff Snyders. They don't like the I mean, some of them, not all of them. They don't like the Jeff Snyders. They don't like the Daniel RPKs. They don't like all these other pundits out here who are spilling tea because they're independent. And when they get exclusives, they're spilling it out here, and then the varieties and stuff, days later, they're dropping the news, and it's like, well, we already heard this already because Jeff Snyder dropped the news, or Daniel RPA and all the other ones. There was only two that could pop up on the top of my head that be dropping exclusives, but yeah, that's how they usually do it. So, but I do agree, test screenings need to go away. I think studios need to start trusting in their films and edit it, put it together, have some and put it out that way. Stop doing the test screenings because people love spoiling stuff on social media. We're in a whole new world now, and I think that the industry needs to catch up with the internet world. Uh, you said, Rob? Oh yeah. Well, I'm definitely willing to see her back in the film. I'm wondering if, well, she would have to dye her hair again, right? Because she had dark hair in the original movie. I totally forgot about the Deftones album, and funny enough, I actually had it as part of my I have it in my library to watch. I mean, to listen to. So, oh, excuse me. I haven't listened to it yet. All right. Okay, so let's get out of this one. But here's one thing I did listen to is that performance from Fifth Harmony. Well, I listened to it and I watched it. So after 7 years, Fifth, or should we call them Fourth Harmony, because Camilla wasn't up there. Uh Last night, Jonas Brothers performed in Dallas, Texas. And then, I don't know if a lot of people have been realizing this, but they've been bringing out a lot of celebrities and stuff on their tours. So usually what they do is each stop of their tour, they'll bring out a special guest. Before they brought out Demi Lovato, they brought out Switchfoot, they brought out Jesse McCartney. Some people talking about like, oh, Jesse McCartney's washed, whatever the case is. I told you I met him years ago when I was at VH1. He was in the elevator with his crew. That boy can cuss like a sailor, and he was like a child then. So I think it was in All My His career was just starting out. I was like, oh, this boy can cuss. But anyway, so Jesse McCartney, but then people call him Wash. But I'm like, wait a minute. He performed, I remember, at Matt Rife's show in Madison Square Garden the first night he performed. And Jesse McCartney had the girls up dancing and singing along with a lot of his songs. He got a couple of bops. So don't sleep on Jesse McCartney. Um, Dean Lewis, they had All Time Low, The Click Five, Hanson, Cartel, not Hooba Stink Chair, JP Sachs, Alessia Cara, Glenn Powell. Why y'all bringing out Glenn Powell fine ass? Was he in Texas when y'all brought him out? Because he lives and loves and breathes Texas. Chris Caraba, I really hope he got rid of that stupid porcupine hairdo that he used to walk around wearing. That used to irritate me with him. JoJo and Russell Rickerson. So yeah, every night they'll bring out like an old celebrity from eons ago. And I'm living for it. I love the fact that he actually brings out a lot of artists that we grew up with alongside listening to the Jonas Brothers and stuff. And it's reminding them that, you know what? Excuse me, they still got it. And so, yeah, four of the girls came out because Camilla, like, I done moved on. I'm a bigger artist, not necessarily in America, but she's doing her thing overseas, and she seems to be resonating more with the European audience than America, because CXOXO flopped over here, but it's doing well overseas. And don't get me wrong, you know what? In the beginning, I was throwing a little shade at her, trying to be like, the poor man's the Timu equivalent of Charlie XCX. But at the same time, when I was listening to this, she had some bops on that record. So I can't fault her completely in regards to the whole um that whole album and stuff. So yeah. So Normani, Ali, Lauren, and Dinah basically pumped out on the stage for their first performance as a group since they announced the hiatus in 2018. So they said they showed off their choreo skills as though no time had passed, emerging from smoke and matching all black outfits. The group sang their hit singles Work From Home and Worth It, making the first time on stage together in 7 years. Hold on, let me see if I could. I was actually thinking, let me pull up the video for y'all. If I can find, oh, I got it. I was like, yeah, I don't know if y'all seen the video. Shout out to Entertainment Weekly for this. So yeah, I gotta make sure I mute it because I don't want to get, look at them pumping out like they doing the Destiny's Child. Hit me. Can you keep up? I ain't gonna try to say because I barely got a voice, so I can't even try to attempt. I barely have a speaking voice, so as y'all can hear from me doing the show. But anyway, so sharing the footage of the performance, the IG, the group thanked the Joe Bros, and writing felt amazing to be back. Now, in a separate comment, Brooke added that was special. Prior to the surprise performance, fans knew to be on high alert. Earlier that day, the Fifth Harmony Twitter account teased a possible reunion by posting for the first time in 7 years. Hashtag Fifth Harmony follows Spree. The post read, sparking immediate speculation. Now, since taking to the stage again, the group has released new merch and updated their social media bios with the slogan, Where Were You on August 31st, 2025? Teasing more to come, the group also joined the Hybe-owned fan platform Weverse to connect with fans. In their recent message, excuse me, all four members appear on camera in matching outfits from their concert performance and encourage followers to leave them a message saying, We'll chat with you all soon. The group also got some love from the Joe Bros, who recreated a TikTok trend to celebrate the reunion. The video sees Nick and Joe sitting side by side at the concert venue when Nick says, Do you think they'll play Work From Home by Fifth Harmony? And Karen responds, No, this is a Joe Bros concert. We said Jonas Brothers, but I'm cutting it down. The video then cuts to the girls rehearsing for their big number, proving them wrong. In the caption, the Joe Bros added that it was an honor to have the girls with them on stage. So, look, we already know, well, Fifth Harmony, how they got together, because, with Nicole Scherzinger, she helped put together um, One Direction. But Fifth Harmony, they came together because they were put together on the US version of the X Factor about 10-ish years ago. Well, 2012. So like 13 years ago, I should say. So yeah, they auditioned as solo artists. They actually were put together by the judges Simon, Demi Lovato, L.A. Reid, and Brittany. And they came in third, but they garnered a sizable fan base, allowing them to launch their debut album, Reflection, in 2015. They had massive success with that. Then a year later, Camilla left the group, launching her own solo career while the four stuck together, which, no shade, but honestly, I just see these girls as like, I don't know why y'all decided to break up. Camilla actually thought she was the better girl of the group. I vehemently disagree. But apparently after, how many albums has she put out? Was XOXO, that's like what, album number 3, album number 4? And so it took a couple, we'll just say this, it took a couple of albums to actually um get it together. And I guess find her own way or whatever the case is. But I do feel like Camilla, if you're going to try to be that um big pop star or whatever, maybe the best bet is just stick to overseas. If you're going to do America, you're going to have to do smaller venues because quiet as it's kept, nobody cares about your music over here as a solo artist. I mean, you have like a sizable fan base, but excuse me, you're not selling out MSG, and it's no shade. You're just not. But you could do Radio City, or if you do want to come to MSG, you could do the theater. You'll be able to do that, but the theater only houses 3,000. So I don't know if that'll be enough for you. But a lot of you girls, I got to get out of y'all egos and realize that if you really trying to be taken serious, you really got to build yourselves up over here. So maybe what she needs to do is just focus on overseas audience. She could do a couple of shows here and there. Look, Kylie Minogue humbled herself, whereas like she went from stadiums and arenas around the world, and when she wanted to come to America, she did smaller venues. She gave you still that big scale concert that you would expect from a Kylie Minogue arena tour or a stadium tour. But she's judged it down a bit where she can give y'all a little bit of the bells and whistles. You still got the fierce choreography. She still got up there and sang. You got a couple of little props and things that she would bring out. She couldn't bring the whole thing. She couldn't bring the sprinklers and all the stuff she did from the Aphrodite tour, but she gave us a little taste of it and we appreciate it. We live for it. And it took her 30 plus years for her to get to a point where she could build her fan base or build her audience in America that she could do arenas. And her Tension tour was successful because she stuck for the most part to a lot of the places that she needed to stick to where she knew she would get a big audience. She did 2 nights in New York. She did, DC, and then she did LA, and she did a lot of the big blue state areas. Yeah, she it didn't work in certain areas, and she understands that. But now it's like you could do like different venues and it'll work out. But I just feel like a lot of you new generation people, y'all want that success today. Y'all don't want to build up to a point where you can have like build, little by little, brick by brick, brick by brick. You could do stone by stone, while I'm having a Whitney moment. So you can, build it, but you don't do all of that. A lot of you girls don't want to do all that. A lot of you don't want to humble yourselves in that way. Now the question remains, so we can finish up this story. Does anybody care about a Fifth Harmony reunion? Or will the girls be able to survive with just four of them? Will y'all care enough to support a group four girls doing Fifth Harmony? I guess is what the word I'm trying to articulate. I'm telling you, when you under the weather, you can't think straight. I'm a mess, but we powering through it. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Do you think that people care enough that want a Fifth Harmony reunion? I do think that four of them together are better off together than solo. I don't think that y'all have that it factor, that X factor. I don't think y'all really stand out enough to be able to be a solo artist. None of y'all cared about Normani's record. I didn't care. I thought the album was boring. Hence why I be calling her Bormani instead of Normani. And them other girls, I don't know them. So it's better than y'all just stick together as a quartet, put out music. Like y'all, somebody might get mad for me for saying this, like the Spice Girl. Even though them girls got individual personalities, it's no shade because Melanie C don't need the group, although she stays in the group and does the music. Victoria Beckham is better at the fashions because she never had the vocals, but she was just there to be pretty and drop a little, a little something. I would say yang yang, but she couldn't even give us a yang. So she did like her little whatever, and it was cute. Mel B give us a little baritone. Every man wants a woman. Oh, wait, that's the wrong baritone. That's Candy Burris. But you know what I'm saying. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Do you think the people care? Think it depends on the thing. Look, we ain't getting a pussycat doll. They was giving us with React, and then Nicole, I guess, was showing her ass, and her and Robin, and them two still going at it and fighting over the fact that they were supposed to do this tour. That didn't happen. So I do think these girls understand that they're better together than apart. I would like to hear new music from them. In this day and age, we want a sassy bop. We want to see the girls giving it for the girls and the gays. And I do think there is a small audience out here that really I do think there's a demographic out here that wants to hear that music. And if Camilla don't want to come back, okay, you stay over there doing your little senoritas and all that other shit that you be doing. And they'll just have to continue to give us this. Because like I said, these girls are better together than apart. And if Camilla realized that solo career is continuing to flop, she'll come on home. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, back, child. I had to mute the mic. I could blow my nose, and I could cough, my lungs out. Ooh, child, the ghetto. I was like, I'm glad y'all can't hear none of this mess. Um, not Timu version of Charlie XCX. They said they even were cheered for being your usual out of sync dance moves, but I kind of bang. Oh, I love an out of sync dance move. I don't think everything got to be synchronized. This was so underwhelming, and I grew up as a harmonizer. They still out of sync. Oh, but it depends if it's intentional. But yeah, they need some. I think they could have rehearsed a little longer. Excuse me. And Brittany still was the one who didn't see it for that. Well, maybe Brittany was onto something. And it seems the obsession with Cat's Eye and K-pop demon hunters saw a resurgence in girl groups that led to a Fifth Harmony comeback. Yeah, there's a lot of there's the girl groups. I mean, look, Blackpink getting back together over the summer to do a tour, and I worked their tour. And the amount of people that came out for that, like at City Field, we housed 40,000 people. It was sold out. It was hot as hell on that floor too, because I was working the floor and I was this close to them girls. So it was cute, whatever, seeing like, that. And then the fact that K pop is definitely doing well with the boy bands and the girl groups. And you don't never hear no drama, or at least I don't. Maybe I don't pay attention to K pop that hard, but you don't really hear no drama coming out of a lot of these groups like you do in the American artists. So it definitely needs to come back. And if they do come back, they definitely got to work harder on that choreography. Camilla's career did get a bit revived with her Timu Charlie X. But not to point to take her where she I think it said not to take her to the point where she once was before 2020. It's become common phase to say CXOXO is underrated. First album sold 1.7 and 1.3 million copies. Third album went gold, and the Timu album didn't go okay. But Camilla thinks she bigger than them girls. Havana went diamond. So like people said, platinum is cute, but diamond it sure is 10 million copies. Yeah, that's how much diamond is. I am loving that new Ava Max. Oh yeah, I did. I was like, yeah, I forgot I did send you that interview. I know that new Ava Max album. Thank you for sending me the interview. I really enjoyed it and respect her even more as an artist. I know you definitely love the album. No, I am not okay. I am under the weather. I've been sick since Friday night. Like, I know you probably just now coming in, but yeah, Saturday, I literally woke up, had no voice. Friday was going. And even one of my coworkers was like, go home and get some rest because he heard like my voice was cracking. And then Saturday, I woke up, literally had no voice. And then you trying to work a whole concert with no voice. So I was a mess. And then yesterday it was back like 75%. And today is a little bit better, but it's like usually if I talk for too long, I'm coughing consistently because it's like it starts to hurt when I cough. So that's why I've been drinking a lot more water than usual. And then I'm like, the nose is running. So I told y'all literally, no lie, I got a roll of toilet paper next to me. So when I gotta blow my nose, I got to mute the mic and then go, do whatever. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of situations going on with the show. So I need y'all to bear with me, especially when you under the weather. Still trying to give y'all an entertaining show with me being a man. Some of us we come to our cubicle regardless, rain or shine. The good thing is I work in my cubicle by myself. I'm not around nobody, so I'm not gonna be able to give y'all nothing. But yeah, so it's her career never recovered after the okay, and we still on her neck about that. Mm-mm, mm-mm, here you go. Because I started getting a sore throat last night when I was about to go to bed, and I woke up this morning with a sore throat. That's why I said it's like it's just something going on. It's that time of year. So even when it be hot outside during the day, in my bag when I go to work, my gym bag, my big duffel bag, whatever, I carry a hoodie with me because I know it'd be freezing on them trains. And it be cold. The weather drops excessively at night. I don't know what I feel like. Damn, I feel like we getting California weather. Because when I lived in LA, you don't need a jacket, you don't need a coat, all that other stuff. I just wore a hoodie all the time. In the daytime, it'd be hot as hell. At night, that temperature drops so much. You get that cold desert weather. It's like, you need a hoodie. So that's what I've been traveling with. Because I was like, oh yeah, I can thug it on out. I'm always hot as it is. The weather is a lie. I mean, the devil's a lie. They told me, sir, we're about to give your ass a rude awakening. He said it's an early fall that what set me off and got me a cold and nasal problems. hmm I'm glad I could breathe, but it's just a sore throat chat. But anyway, let's move on. Let's go from Fifth Harmony and let's talk about Miss Perry. So y'all already know Katy Perry's on this Lifetime's tour doing her thing, but she decided to clap back on her haters at all of her haters because apparently, y'all been out here saying, I said, yeah, I'm blaming y'all, even though some of it was me too. Well, I would say, oh, she out here flopping. The tour's not doing all that well, but I worked the tour. I said, yuck. Look, I worked the tour last month. It was last month when she did the tour, right? It might have been July, August. I don't remember no more. I've done so many shows now. It's all a blur. But anyway, so I did the tour. The Lifetime tour was cute. I thoroughly enjoyed what she was up there doing. Yeah, we still on your neck about the whole Dr. Luke situation. But one of the things I will say is that it was a lot of awesome bells and whistles that was projected in the show that I thoroughly enjoyed seeing with this show and everything, the choreography, the figure eight runway that she had, her coming out as like this artificial intelligence thing, like this costume you see on the right. I definitely like the outfit, her flying around the arena doing backflips and um her flying around the arena in like this little on this giant butterfly. Like it was a lot of really interesting things that you got to see throughout the show. She was definitely giving you a show. She was definitely giving you the bells and whistles. You would definitely be entertained going to see a Katy Perry show. So with all that being said, there was rumors going around that she was on the struggle bus a little bit. Excuse me. And now she decided to reveal the staggering earnings from the Lifetime's tour. So according to reports, they said the pop superstar has reportedly already sold 1.1 million tickets and grossed more than 80 million in sales, according to numbers released by her management, obtained by Billboard. The staggering total reflects earnings from shows across the US, Canada, and Australia, with more legs of the global trek still to come. Perry kicked off the North American leg in Houston on May 7th before rapping in Miami on August 23rd, hitting more than 20 cities, including Chicago, San Francisco, New York, and Atlanta. In Canada, she drew crowds in Toronto, Vancouver, Ottawa, Edmonton, Winnipeg, Quebec City, and Montreal. God damn, there's a lot of parts of Canada where she performed in front of Justin Trudeau, which, ignited those rumors of them two out here hunching. And they said before heading to Australia for 13 sold out dates between June 9th and June 30th. Didn't we hear T regarding that she was on the struggle bus and selling Australia tour dates? But then again, they probably found a way to make it work because Australia, no, they don't really get a lot of people coming out there to see them, perform or whatever, or they don't get a lot of artists coming out there to perform because that's a long ass flight from what I've heard. And literally, they're on the other side of the world. Like right now, we in our summer, I believe they're in their winter or something. So, they basically went on to say that Perry has leaned into a bold theatrical theme for the Lifetime's tour with the concept centered around the singer saving the world while surrounded by a kaleidoscope of butterflies, each representing a different era of her career. Yeah, visually, I mean, story-wise, no shade. It had made no sense, but I thoroughly enjoyed a lot of the spectacle of what I was seeing. So it definitely was a good show, and I know a lot of my coworkers were thoroughly entertained. The massive production is set to span 91 shows across Asia, Australia, Europe, North America, and South America. Next up, the firework hitmaker is preparing for her first ever Latin American stadium shows before taking the spec to go to Europe in October. The leg will include stops in Glasgow, Manchester, and London, along with shows in Belgium, Germany, Denmark, France, Spain, Italy, and beyond. I'm like, damn, she really is traveling around the world. Demand has been so high that Perry has already added multiple extra dates, including 2 in Paris, 5 in Australia, and 1 in China. But here's the thing: one of my coworkers was asking me, they were like, if this is such a big demand for this tour, why did she only do 1 day at Madison Square Garden? Because when you look at Lady Gaga, not to compare the two, but we're gonna have to go there. Why is it that Lady Gaga is doing 6 nights at the Garden, She's already completed 4, all been sold out, with 2 more this coming Saturday and Sunday. But Katy Perry only did 1 night. So would the demand not be there for the New York leg? Like, I would think that she would have a huge plethora of fans. I mean, she had the gays, she had little kids, she had, she kind of hit all the demographics. There were women who were Katy Perry's age, like in their late, mid to late 30s, early 40s. You had like the 20-year-old crowd. You had families showing up, parents with their kids. So it was, and I remember I had this one little boy in my child, he was a queen, but I had this one little boy, he was there with his parents, and um I don't know if they was his sisters or his friends or whatever the case. I'm assuming they was his sisters. He was carrying this whole time. Oh my God, it's my favorite song, and doing all of this, like the Emmett Honeycutt, hailing the taxi dance. Y'all know that scene from Queer as Folk. He was giving all of that. And I'm looking at, okay, child, you're doing a lot, but let your freak flag fly. You go ahead, let that flame burn bright, yeah. I mean, we're not going to sit up here and read the gays, or maybe just a little. But it's like, yeah, girl, do your niece. That's what I say. So he was up there having a good, oh, it's my favorite song, and doing all this other stuff. And I'm sitting there watching the people behind him, like laughing or whatever. I'm like, look, that little boy is out here being the biggest queen that he want to be, living his best life. Because Katy Perry, I was like, just imagine. I was like, so is this how Joella felt on that season of Drag Race when Katy Perry walked up in the room? That's literally how I was feeling about the whole situation. So I was like, we're not gonna make fun of her. We're gonna let this little child do him at this concert. Because when this is a once in a lifetime opportunity that you get to see this particular show and have your little fun. So they said she got child. Now this is where I'm like, not China, not you performing in China, not with all them damn communists. So they said she's got 6 China shows, 2 in Hangzhou, 3 in Shanghai, and 1 in Haikou, sold out in just 1 minute after going on sale. With months of shows still ahead and overwhelming demand across the continent, the Lifetime store is shaping up to be one of the most lucrative and expansive shows of her career. The update comes months after claims that she was experiencing disappointing ticket sales in select cities. So I'm wondering what shifted, because if people weren't that interested and people weren't really feeling the tour, then how come all of a sudden it's kind of the shift went and happened? Maybe in the beginning, from the footage that we were seeing on screen, it looked a little sloppy. Like, it didn't really look like she put a lot of effort into performing the show. But by the time she got to MSG, I'm like, this is like a well put together show. She was being personal with the audience. She was cracking jokes. She has a segment where she brings the people out from the audience on stage in their costumes, whatever the case, little kids, gay people, whatever. Like, a couple got engaged literally at Madison Square Garden on stage with her. Um, so there's a lot of really cool moments. The show is, I will say, well put together. It's not perfect, but I kind of like the imperfections in the perfection. So it was like everything is not going to be perfect and tightly, situated. It's like if it messes up, we roll with the punches and keep it going. Don't take it seriously. I wish there were other artists out there that weren't always blow a gasket if something goes wrong, but there are some that do. And you just got to be able to improvise. The show must go on, as they say. So um, we like to throw shade and do all this stuff, but we got to also talk about the good along with the bad. So I don't want to always make it seem like, oh, I'm nitpicking or I'm picking on Katy Perry. We're gonna celebrate the milestones when they're there. I mean, if y'all believe this tea that they saying, of course, Billboard, mainstream blog. So they're gonna say whatever they need to say, and you already know when it comes to Billboard, we be side eyeing them with their charts and all the other mess that they be putting out in regards to where they want to place certain artists. Didn't we just have something recently where they were some of the biggest producers of 2020, the 20, what did they say, 20, the century of this new century, and they put Beyonce at number 6, and the children were out here clutching their pearls because they're like, Beyonce, because she's good at doing her own stuff, but you're not comparing her to Dr. Luke. I don't know why I had to bring that name up in here, but he's on the list. A Timberland. which y'all had the unlitigated gall of excluding Pharrell. Like, hello. First of all, both of them were a big prominent force in pop music and hip hop in the 2000s. So for you to include Timbaland and Danger, his protege, but not Pharrell, excuse you. And then when you put in, so it was all of that in regards of like, yeah, like I said, Timbaland and Danger and Max Martin and all these other and Shellback and all these other artists, producers that y'all was putting in there. But y'all exclude Madonna. Y'all exclude other people who are very much as hands-on with producing their music. But you were Beyonce and then they got mad. But it's like, well, she does her own thing. How you put an artist in the same conversation as and even putting Taylor Swift on there. To me, it just goes to show the real conversation is the lack of female producers getting a shot to come in and do the stuff. It's still a boys' club. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? So yeah, Billboard, I'll be hitting y'all with the side eye. But at the same time, this is the story that they out here saying we're gonna support and be like, you know what? She has some vibes. Say what you want about her. And some of the songs that she has picked from, what's the remix album called 1403 or something or another? And this is what they call, and because there's some of the songs that's not on 143, that's on the expanded version. It's like artificial and all that stuff. That's not even on the original album. And she performs that on the tour. That's the opener. Which I actually like the opener. I kind of wish she would have kept the rap in, but she doesn't. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You saying it's a first day of spring in Australia, which is weird because our first day of fall is in 3 weeks. Do you know any tea about Gaga's VMA performance? Everybody's been asking me about that. I honestly do not know what's going on in regards to the whole situation. Everybody's saying like there's this rumor that she shot it in the garage, whatever the case is. We do have a garage. I told y'all like um there is a little cut where it's like we have on the left hand side there is a parking garage. So when you drive up on the right, we have Madison Square Garden, which is the garage that we have like they do all the load ins and all that other stuff. Then we have like a little barricade that cuts it off where a lot of people like to stand over there and see if they see their favorite celebrity come out. I don't think you do because she would have those things tinted. They saying they shot stuff in they were shooting something about a week ago at Madison Square Garden. They probably did do it. I don't know. I wasn't there. And plus I haven't heard anybody talk about it. Then there's some people saying that she's gonna be at because they keep saying she's gonna be at the VMAs. There's no way she's gonna be at the VMAs. UPS is in Elmont, Long Island. There's no way she's getting from Long Island unless she's the opening. I'm not even if she's the opening act. Like if the VMA starts at 8 o'clock, she does her performance. Then you got to gather her 25 dancers because she has 25 dancers on this tour. Her band, all I'm gonna get. What are they doing? Flying a plane from the UBS garage, parking lot, and then going to like it's impossible. You're not getting on a highway, making it there on time to Madison Square Garden. Like if y'all were filming this at Radio City and y'all had us the opening act, it would work because Radio City is not that far from Madison Square Garden. So you can go and perform, do your opening performance at Radio City, get her in a car, go over to the garden, because it's not, like I said, it's not that far. It's probably like a good 8 to 10 blocks. Might be less than that. I'm thinking off the top of my head. Yeah, because I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, the garden is on 7th Avenue, and I'm trying to see it in my head. Radio City is like I believe yeah, it's on 6th Avenue, so it's like up the block, but over on the left. So it's a couple of blocks up. So it's not that far. It's like close to 52nd Street. So yeah, it's like a good 10 blocks, 10, 12 blocks. But so if you get her in a car, if y'all were doing it at MSG, if you were doing it Midtown Manhattan, it would definitely be easier to navigate them around. But then again, we have Midtown Manhattan traffic, which is a hot ass mess, and the fact that they've cut off a lot of cars driving in and out because I want to create these little side pavement shits for the tourists, and then y'all got these stupid city bikes and these stupid little scooters that's going around. These scooters are getting on my root canal nerve. They used to irritate the hell out of me when I was in LA, and now they started to migrate in New York, and they're everywhere. They annoy the hell out of me. I be wanting to hit some of y'all with them damn scooters, like pick it up and literally throw it at you. But quiet as it's kept because a lot of y'all be acting like that everybody gotta move out y'all damn way. It's like, bitch, I'm walking. You need to be in the street. So, um, to answer your long, getting around this long-winded ass answer, I don't know anything. I'm gonna ask around when I go back to work on Friday. That's the next time I'm going back to the garden. That's when Benson Boone is doing his show. I know Tate McRae has a show on Wednesday and Thursday, which they also mentioned that she's going to be performing at the VMAs, which I said that from the beginning. That makes sense. Why won't y'all have her perform there? She's going to be in town. She's doing 2 nights. I also said Benson Boone. Why don't y'all have him lined up as a performer? He's performing on Friday, the day before Gaga. So it's going to be busy. 2 Tate McRae shows. Right after that, we got Benson Boone. And then right after, we got 2 Gaga shows. You said someone said it's because 143 was much better received overseas. Like people said, anything that's a scandal in the U.S. doesn't translate. No, they just like a good. I think what it is they like a good song, so they don't care who it comes from as long as the songs are good. I think they probably be like it's no shade to Kesha, but they like a good song. And to me, a lot of the songs in it, it's all right. But if Katy Perry wants to, continue to ride off this success, I do think she needs to start working with new producers. They can give you that Dr. Luke sound. It is that. She has like a hardcore fan base, Katy Cats. Like she's been around for about around the same time as Gaga. Like they've been doing this for like 15 years. Her, Gaga, Nicki Minaj, like they all been doing this for 15 years. So you've built enough of a fan base. Same thing with Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga gagged me because I'm like, you got the gays up in here and they some there was one thing I forgot to tell y'all. The costumes. Not Gaga's costume. The costumes was everything with her show. What the people was wearing in the audience. I remember there was one boy, black dude, muscular. Oh my God, he was fine. Now, must have went to the bathroom when he came in, or he must have changed when he was in his section. But when he came up those steps to go to the restroom, he had on, I think he had on a cowboy hat, he had on cowboy boots, and nothing but a pair of pink briefs. I was like, now wait a minute. Who is this sexy piece of chocolate walking up out of here? One of the girls was gagging, but I was like, bitch. I was salivating. I was like, who is this hunk of a man walking in and out of here? And where's your clothes? Now that I'm complaining, but where's your clothes? And get in here because I don't look. As long as you're not in here showing titties and dick, and nobody's doing anything sexual, I don't think it matters. But the girls was coming in with all kinds of crazy costumes on, and I was living. Some of y'all, it was a choice. It's like, do y'all not have friends who could tell y'all that maybe this look isn't, you ain't got the body for this outfit, but if you want to, you got, if, rock on sis and niece and daughter. I'm referring to the men when I say that. With some of the looks and stuff that y'all had on. I was like, when I would go to Madonna concerts, I would practically wear no clothes. So I'm not hating. I'm just saying, like, you must have changed when you came to your seat because I do not remember you coming in here or whatever with no clothes on. But the children were living, and I saw, and as was I, 'cause that was some eye candy. And the girls was coming to me. I remember I seen these muscle queens came in with like a crop top, it was like a fishnet red crop top, had on like this. It looked like a thong that was showing and low rise pants. But I said, okay, the muscle queens is carrying. They spent all that time, the roiding and the exercise and all the other, the juicing and the working out. They was like, oh, we coming up in here pumping. We gonna give y'all a show with these outfits. Giving femme queen realness with a butch body. And you said Azealia Banks, basically, fuck her. Um, we don't care about Azealia Banks. And that's all to your shade. And he said, oh, we forgetting how Gaga, her team, and Live Nation banned people from buying tickets at the box office. I was asking around about that. Because I showed my coworkers and stuff, and I think they were saying something or another. You know what? Maybe they were trying to go into the box office to get tickets, whatever. But because of the demand, there probably wasn't any tickets available. But yeah, and you want to know something? Also, there's been a lot of issues with tickets too, because I heard that people was trying to go to the Chris Brown concert over the weekend in Atlanta, and there was an issue. Like people would show up and they were like, "Oh, your seat is no longer available." Whatever. This dude said he bought two VIP tickets on the floor for $1,000 each and couldn't even get in with that. But they managed to work it out and move him into a different location. But there was ticket issues, and it was ticket issues this weekend because when I was working the City Field situation, they want us to people to use the ballpark app because there was issues with, I believe, SeatGeek and a bunch of them and Ticketmaster. I think they got hacked over the weekend. This is what always worries me about a lot of these: the fact that everybody technology and using apps and all this other stuff. Um, and there was a whole bunch of issues. But yeah, I remember seeing that story. Somebody online was talking about that they went down to the thing and they went and bought. They were trying to buy tickets and security kicked them out. I remember talking to some of my security friends over there at um the show and see what they say about. I'm trying to see if I still because I remember I screenshot it. I want to see if I because I yeah one of the things I did not do. I don't think I deleted any of the posts that I had in this situation. So um do I have it? Probably not. Yeah, I probably did get rid of it. I was like, "Do I still got her?" Um, no, I got a lot of Donald Trump stuff I need to start deleting. Y'all already know how I feel about that old tied wide back mother flower. Yes, I must have deleted it. I meant to save it though, but sometimes you be forgetting, especially when you said the MSG refused to sell tickets at 5K but regular price. People want it. Um, I don't even know if did I get into the conversation. I might have got sidetracked. Because I meant to mention, like, oh, one of my coworkers showed me the price for the floor seat. I think it was row E, which is actually not a bad section. Because I worked row E before. I've also worked near the stage. I worked A to the wall. No, I worked C to the wall. I worked A and B in the aisle, and I worked B and C in the aisle. BNC that was during a Afrobeats concert. I was like, oh hell no, never again, because you motherfuckers don't know how to act when y'all go into these situations. Y'all don't want to go to your seats. We show y'all where y'all supposed to go. You can't find nothing because apparently reading is and comprehension skills. A lot of y'all lack it, and it's not just the Afrobeat. It's just be a lot of people who lack critical thinking skills. So y'all pissed me off. I went on a break, came back, and it was a whole mess. And I was like, you want to know something? I'm not dealing with this. So um, we tried to do the best we could, but it was just a disaster. So because like after we showed it, how y'all can't remember where y'all was sitting? Like hello. But she showed me the price. She was like, just guess. I was like $1,000. Child, it was damn near $4,000 for a floor seat at a Gaga concert, the Mayhem Ball, this coming week. I believe it was. I don't know if it was. I don't remember if it was Saturday or Sunday. It don't matter, but I think it was Sunday because Sunday is the VMA thing, so they probably know. Oh, they gonna really blow up them tickets to be even $3,500. That's why I'm glad I work there because, and a lot of us agree to work there. There's people that I work with that are attorneys, got high profile jobs that work there because it's like the money. I mean, like putting money into like season tickets for like the games, be it the Knicks or the Rangers or even concerts. Concerts are expensive. God bless y'all that go hardcore for a lot of your faves, and y'all got money to be going not just one night but multiple nights. Any amount of money that y'all be spending. But there were complaints in the article or in the post where people was like obstructed areas, they couldn't see nothing. She didn't put the screens on. I told y'all that before um the people started complaining. I'm like, this is going to be an issue. People cannot see a lot of the show because she didn't turn any of the screens on. The Who did, and their whole set was where you could see everything on the stage. That's how far back everything went. So it wasn't obstructed. But Gaga doing her little opera show or whatever, it's like, ma'am, you could at least turn the damn screens on. Like, if the Who could turn it on, sis, you could turn it on too. If Katy Perry could turn it on, you could turn it on. But who knows? Maybe it was, maybe that's extra. Well, it is. You do have to pay to put them screens on, but still, with all the money you asking these artists and Ticketmaster, and you getting a percentage. And we talked about that. They said so far she's made 4 point something million dollars from this tour. The least you could do is do a little better for your little monsters instead of gaslighting them with the well, if it wasn't for you people, I wouldn't be here and doing all that shit. And of course they eat it up. But then when the show is over, y'all go home and bitch and moan that I couldn't see the show and this and this and this and this and this. He said she do, because there was it was a lot of them there. Something Madonna doesn't have, and Rolling Stone kept saying it would be cool to find straight men. And, yep, straight men into Madonna. When I went to because I didn't work at the Garden yet. I had just started working at the Garden when Madonna's concert came to MSG. But I was like, oh, I can't work this week because I'm doing a Madonna concert. So they didn't put me on. So I started the following week. Um, so there were straight people there. Because I remember in the section I was in, and the good thing about working there now, they put us in section 118, which is no one. I think 117. Yeah, 117, 118, which is a perfect section. It's on the sixth floor. I told her that's the good spot if y'all wanna order tickets to go see a show. That's where they will put you if you were staff member. I was like, "Ooh, I'm living." So, and I worked that section before, so I know it's the perfect spot. That's why I was trying to kind of give y'all the hint of like, if you're gonna go and do a concert, that's the spot you want to pick. So I remember when I went to the show, it wasn't all just gays up in there. There was straight people that was at the Madonna concert. So she does have straight fans. A lot of them are older. I don't know if they're younger, but it's just the ones who've been around, following her career for over 4 decades. And Kylie had straight fans up in there too. So, and then Gaga had straight fans. And then you have when people come for the suites, they go and they use that when they go into the suites, you get like companies and other stuff who rent out these suites, whatever, and they go and see the show there too. Taylor Swift is most pre-saved album on Spotify. I've heard that the thing is it's doing well, and the album's coming out soon. Well, a month away. Um, so there's that. But yeah, let's move on into the show. Now that we got this whole concert thing out of the way. And let's talk about Lil Nas X. So we don't need to go into a whole recap of what's been going on with Lil Nas X and everything. But one of the things I want to say is that there was some recent report that came out that there was no drugs found in his system. So it basically was a psychotic break, which I'm actually thankful it wasn't drugs. But now that we know what it is, he can get the help that he needs. And it totally is understandable that Lil Nas X had a mental breakdown because of all the pressures he's dealing with. He's a young gay black man in pop music. He's rapping, and you already know how the homophobe, how homophobic hip hop is. So you have this kid in this space. Also, the backlash he was getting from the racist white people when he was dabbling in country music because his career catapulted from Old Town Road. So, um, with all that being so he was getting it from a lot of people. Plus, a lot of people running around to my, oh, this your karma for making fun of God and blah 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 blah, so on and so forth. I'm like, first of all, miss me with the selective outrage because a lot of y'all faves be doing religious imagery and stuff in things, and y'all don't say a goddamn word. How many times has Gaga used religious imagery in her shit? Did she get any backlash? Oh, because she's a white woman, that's okay. But the minute a black child comes in here and uses something, which basically he didn't do anything blasphemous, in my opinion. What he was doing was holding a mirror up to the hypocrisy of religious folks who like to say you're going to be condemned to hell for being gay. And quiet as it's kept, y'all already condemned him to hell for being homosexual. So he's like, okay, well, if you saying I'm going to hell, then we gonna twerk on the devil in Hades. We're gonna put all this imagery and stuff in the videos, and I'm gonna basically hold up a mirror and show y'all being hypocrites. But of course, it went over a lot of y'all heads, and then you had bussy mad ass out here coming after a child when you ain't got no room to talk. You out here grooming your kids to have sex with grown ass women, and you should be in jail. And diapers need to be called on you for what you did with your children. And don't even get me started on that old Doberman looking queen Snoop Dogg with that old nappy-headed ass perm he got, starting his mess with the gays. We're going to get into that one. That's the next topic. But if you want to come up in here and try to comfort this child whose frontal lobe didn't start developing until he was 25, he's been out here since he was a late teenager, trying to figure out his way in the world, trying to deal with all this success as a pop star who catapulted out the stratosphere to become this big celebrity. How do you navigate that at that age? And dealing with social media. Glad that I grew up in the time that I grew up in, pre-internet. Well, the internet did exist, but not to the extent that it does now, where I was allowed to go out and grow up and make mistakes and not have to worry about recording everything on social media or some of the things that I was out doing when I was in my late teens and 20s being captured on film for the world to consume. So keep all of that in mind with this situation. So, and dealing with his record label, all the drama that's going on behind the scenes with his career, that takes a toll on someone. And you're not having, you having trust issues. Who do I have in my corner that I could trust that really has my back that will help me out? He's strutting down the street in California, which I'm hearing is a predominantly white neighborhood, Ventura Boulevard, that whole area. And instead of y'all lending a hand to help him out, because he's having the psychotic break is happening in real motion. And it's funny how y'all go on him on having a psychotic break. We got somebody, number 47, who has psychotic breaks every goddamn chance he gets on social media and at the platform of the White House with all that tacky ass Temu gold he got, all that shit from Home Depot. He got all over that White House and the Oval Office and all that mess. But y'all don't say nothing. Oh, it's a cackle, it's a kiki, it's funny. So try to get the crash out in real time, and we see the mental decline, and nobody questions it. But with him, it's a publicity stunt. Is this, is that? But here's the thing: all artists do publicity stunts to promote their music. Taylor Swift does publicity stunts. Lady Gaga does publicity stunts. Beyonce does publicity stunts. They all do it. But because of it's this young black gay man, it's a problem. Because y'all don't like him. Y'all already had your mind set up on him because y'all don't see it for black queers. Like we don't exist. It's like the same thing like when it comes to black people, y'all want representation in white spaces. Y'all want to be included in the Grammys, which is a white situation. Y'all want to be in those white mainstream movies instead of building our own. Y'all want all this accolades and the applause. Y'all want the approval of the white man. And then you say, we want all of these things from our community. We want to have diversity. We want to have our own this and we want to have our own that. But it has to be, you have to be black, you have to be cis and heterosexual. But you can't be gay because they not with us. Yes, we are. Queer black people exist. Trans black people exist. Gay black people exist. Lesbian black folks exist. Bisexual black people exist. Any part of the LGBTQIA, LMNOP, and Z spectrum exists. So for you to try to deny those things because we're okay with the misogyny that comes with all the stereotypes that's equated with black people, which is a form of white supremacy, that's okay. But not being a homosexual, where it's about love is love. This boy ain't do nothing negative to harm or hurt nobody. So with all that being said, his father is weighing in on a whole bunch of what was going on. Because here's what I don't understand. How was he being charged with 4 felonies? Because they said that he battered and injured a police officer and resisted arrest when he was taken into the hospital. And that's when he came out and said that the ordeal was terrifying. He's gonna be all right. Now, here's the thing that I don't think a lot of people have been asking. How come we got footage of him pumping down the street in a pair of tidy whities and at one point was butt ass naked to the point where some tight ass mother flower decided to take his boots that he wound up taking on because he was butt naked out in the street and sell them on eBay. This is a special place in hell for your ass. And I hope that money that you make from that eBay purchase, it was worth it. How come we've seen video footage of all this stuff going on with him that, of course, that old tight ass rhymes with maggot, Harvey Levin, making money off the back of course, of black folks and a black gay man when you a homosexual your damn self because all the footage was sold to TMZ. But we ain't seen no footage of him attacking these cops. Don't they walk around with body cams and things of that nature? Where's the footage? Y'all got footage for every goddamn thing else, but we ain't got no footage for Lil Nas X putting paws on the cop because we know how y'all like to handle black people. The rules don't apply when it comes to how you handle us. I told y'all the other day, I seen this video of these two Karens talking about, oh, I'm an attorney and I'm this and I'm that and resisting arrest. And the girl threw a fit and wouldn't get in the car. She kicking, doing all this other stuff. They handled her with kid gloves. A black person that had done that same situation. Y'all have had them tased. Y'all have pulled out your nightsticks if you got them and beat them. You would have probably shocked them to death. Excuse me, or worse. You probably would have pow-powed them and took their damn life. Because niggas ain't nothing but a bunch of goddamn animals to y'all. But when it comes to white people, y'all always want to handle them with kid gloves. So y'all know what y'all be doing when y'all out in these streets. So to me, I also see the racial disparities when it comes to how y'all was going to treat him versus if there was somebody like and I know y'all hate for us to use it, but if there was somebody that was white or white adjacent, if it was somebody like a Troy Sivan or somebody like a David Archuleta would have been out here pulling this mess. Y'all would have handled them completely different. And I think they would have been let off with a fine, a misdemeanor charge, do some community service, and pay like a $5,000 fine. I know I'm just putting a specific number out there, but it's like, yeah, probably pay a fine because he's a celebrity. They'll give him like $5,000 fine and do some community service. That's what it would have been, and I'm hoping that's what they do with Lil Nas X. So to put all that out there, his father, Robert Stafford, told the Times that the pressure of fame, being the provider for his family and his mother's drug addiction, had all played a part in his son's recent struggles. Because I was also out here windmilling on him, with his mother out here being a junkie. He trying to help her the best way he can, but you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink. So with his mother going through the stuff she going through, y'all getting mad because y'all feel like he not doing enough. And it's like, first of all, mind your business. Number two, you don't know the extent of what he's been doing over the years behind the scenes with his mother and the drastic measures he's been trying to take to take care of her. So you don't know his situation. But for you out here judging him on this, to me, it's like, know what the F you talking about before you jump in and try to make assumptions. Because you know what they say about people that make assumptions. So he says, I understand how the music business is. This is what his father said. It's like a high. When you get to that level, you want that drug again. You want to hit that high again. So, yeah, and that is also another thing that people need to realize. Fame is worse than any kind of drug you could ever take. It's worse than cocaine, or as I like to say, booger sugar. It's worse than heroin. It's worse than crack. That addiction. Don't you see why Tamar Muppet looking ass is out here acting the way she act? Because she gets off on that. She thrives on that drama. She thrives off on that addiction of fame and what that entails. This pulling the stunts and show. Speaking of stunts, for an album, we were just talking about earlier, she the main one and was willing to put her relationship with Funky Dineva at risk in order to have that, to get that little drug, to get that fix. Hope it was worth it, niece. What was Halle Berry's name in Jungle Fever? Because that's what I would have called her. Because remember, she played a crackhead in that movie. And then, I went to visit him in jail, and as soon as I walked through that door, I couldn't do anything but cry to see my baby boy on the other side of that glass. We shed tears with each other for a minute. I had to tell him what you're going through is normal. We all have breakdowns every now and then, but the difference is yours gets played out in the public eye. For a 26-year-old to have to deal with what he's dealing with, to be a breadwinner for a lot of people, the inability to change his mother's situation and the pressure he puts on himself that could weigh heavily on your heart. He previously told reporters that his son is going to get the help that he needs and was very remorseful for what happened. And you know what? Some people need to hit their rock bottom in order for them to get that wake up call. And I feel like he is there. Um I'm glad they recognized it before it got to a point where it was much worse. That it could have been a situation where it's like he could have unalived himself in front of those people that were filming him, and somebody gets that footage and sells it to TMZ. Which I really think, like, if you talk about that TMZ didn't hit a low, that would be the lowest of the low with them. But we can't put nothing past, them idiots over there. And these people don't care about you. So I'm glad that his father recognized the situation. Hopefully, he gets his son the help that he needs. Hopefully, he'll also be that person that'll be next to him, being like, you know what, I want to keep you on the straight and narrow. I definitely want to help you out and get you to where you need to go so you can come back stronger. Because he does have an album that's supposed to be coming out. I don't know when, but Dream Boy, I believe it's supposed to be coming. I know he released the EP or something at one point. It's cute. But and now they talk about, yeah, he could face up to 5 years in prison. I just don't think that prison would definitely help anything. We understand that prison is definitely something that a lot of you private institutions make lots of money off of. But are you really rehabilitating a lot of these people y'all putting behind bars? And to me, this is the first time offense that we know of Lil Nas X of him going through. I do not think prison is the answer. I do feel like we need to invest money in our mental health facilities, helping out a lot of people who are dealing with a lot of stress and a lot of mental health, especially in this goddamn current administration, dealing with all these damn lunatics who are rolling back everything that people need to give them the support that they need to help them. And with all this stressfulness that everybody's putting themselves and the pressure that everybody's putting themselves under, and I could totally understand. It's like, yeah, when you famous, a lot of people got their hand out like they goddamn Oliver wants some more porridge, expecting Nas to come out and take care of them. Oh, I need money for this. Oh, I need money for that. I'm like, okay, well, and then you want to be the nice person and help everybody out, and you know you're not gonna get that money back. And if you don't help, you think you all that, you change, you not real, you fake. It's, well, wait a minute, this my money I worked hard off of. Why all of a sudden I gotta take care of me and 50 other motherfucking people? You gonna end up like MC Hammer. Remember that story? He thought he was going all that money he was making, helped out everybody in the neighborhood. Now we're bankrupt, broke. That was back in the day. I don't know what his financial situation was now, but he went through it because he was trying to be Robin Hood, not robbing the rich to pay the poor, but he was trying to, he was getting rich and trying to enrich the poor. And all the while he was losing out on a lot of things, and that, the industry is fleeting. So that money ain't always gonna be coming in like that. Especially when he had them, those, and then gangster rap happened because he was doing all that pop stuff, and the music climate changed, and he was trying to come in with the pumps and a bump and all that other stuff, and people was kind of looking at, it ain't working. So then his career kind of took a nosedive, and then it is what it is. So I'm rooting for you, Lil Nas X, to get yourself together, because it ain't easy being out here in these streets trying to deal with all the things that um you definitely need to be dealing with. There was some comment that I had left on this one video. I want to see if I can find it on YouTube, which I thought was actually really good. I was like, definitely check out if I can find it. But it's like when they post a lot of stuff and you leave a comment. I think it was Olay and Friends. If you have not seen that video, because they talked about Snoop Dogg, they talked about Lil Nas X, about the gay agenda and homophobia and that sort of thing. It was a really good episode. And basically what I talked about was um I'm rooting for Lil Nas X to get the help and support he needs so that he can come back mentally stronger and healthy human being. It's not easy being a young artist in this social media climate. Now, one of the things I will say about that also, that I think this is a perfect opportunity, and I hate trying to get in my marketing bag. There's a perfect opportunity, Nas, for you to use this as a moment to get yourself together, right? And come back stronger than ever. Like, I'm ready. My mind is right. I'm strong. I've got everything. Not everything under control, because we're always going to be a work in progress. And then you just figure out, okay, where we going next with the music? Like, you really at that point where, but you surround yourself with people who generally are going to have your back and look out for you and really have your best interests at heart. Because from all the stuff I was seeing, I don't feel like a lot of people was really out here rooting and looking out for you, especially a lot of you punks that was out here making comments about, oh, I think it's a publicity stunt. That's always y'all go to, and they always want to bring the religious crap in things. Don't even get me started on organized religion and the slave mentality regarding all of that. We'll be here all night. But for the most part, it's like, yeah, I'm really rooting for him to get together. So I definitely want to hear from you all. What do you guys think of this story? I'm glad that his father spoke out and is definitely trying to get his son on the straight and narrow. And hopefully he gets the help that he needs. So that way, yeah, like I said, he can come stronger, back stronger than ever, and use his opportunity to um if you got bops, better bop quiet as kept better bops than what Cardi B's been giving us off this upcoming record. Um then you'll be able to, people will take a maybe a genuine interest in your music and all that other stuff, and you'll be able to conjure another hit. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Excuse me. There was a man. Oh, let me take that picture out. There was a man who was married to a woman live streaming one of Gaga's MSG shows last week. I think Madonna has more heterosexual women as fans, especially for her 80s music. And not you saying that it was a heterosexual live streaming the whole thing. He showed the whole. That's messy. I don't like that. Zach Campbell dropped a really good video about Lil Nas recently. He's neighbors with. Maybe I need to watch that one. I haven't seen the Zach Campbell video. I'm hoping his next album is his ray of light. Hopefully, that he can find like his spiritual center. Because here's the thing: his father said he's 26. For men, your frontal lobe doesn't finish developing until you're 25. So now he's fully a developed male, which means now it's just you getting old. You start to you're getting older because from you're an infant to you're 25, that's when your body and everything, your brain, all that other stuff is fully, your frontal lobe is developing. For women, I believe it's 24, 23, but guys always, I know there's a read in there somewhere, but our frontal lobes develop relatively late. So, um, he's trying to navigate through this world. People already have their ish together. So you're gonna get the biggest, like the most ignorant of ignorant, boosies, bussy mad asses, all of them gonna come out with their bullshit. And then this is where it comes to the point, and yeah, I'm getting at that age where I'm gonna become Uncle Chris. Thank God, the what's his name is not in here to call me that. Like he did, he would do every the beginning of every show. But I gotta tell him I'm not an auntie. I'll leave that to the other elders. But I had to be Uncle Chris, and I had to come in, and now I'm passing the mentor stuff down to the younger generation, the up and coming, the legendary up and coming children. Remember that from Paris, the children, the legendary up and coming. So then we just pass that knowledge down to them. Now, whether or not you want to receive it, that's on you. But I'm looking out for you because I don't want you to make the same mistakes I made growing up. Because luckily, I had people in my corner who were elder Black homosexual men who looked out for me and navigated me through the world, especially coming up in New York during the ballroom scene of like the 2000s and this, that, and the other, like all the butch queens and things that I was hanging out with. A lot of the elders who really looked out for me and really looked out for the next generation. I kind of wish that we need to pass that down to the younger kids as well. I know a lot of y'all don't want to hear it. Trust and believe there was moments where I didn't want to hear stuff either. But a lot of those elders save my behind from being a statistic because there's things you can't talk about with your regular family that you can talk about with your homosexual family because they get it, they understand it. Now, speaking of people who need to get it and understand it, let's talk about this heifer. Let's talk about Snoop Dogg. So apparently, you already know Snoop Dogg came out, made some comments on a podcast where he basically said his grandson, he went to take him to see Lightyear. And he was like, Papa Snoop, how does she have a baby with a woman? She's a woman. And he was like, oh, ish. I didn't come for this ish. I came here to watch a goddamn movie. So here's the thing. I'm wondering, what you saying this on that podcast, was you cussing in front of that little boy? So it's okay for you to cuss and use all kinds of disgusting language. But a child asks you how two women are able to have a baby. That's a problem for you. This is the same man that walked two broads on leashes on a red carpet. This is the same man that has said ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. This is the same man that said bitches ain't ish but hoes and tricks. So you could say all of that. You can promote misogyny. You can promote same-sex stuff as long as it's lipstick lesbians and it fulfills your misogynistic fantasy that you think that you're going to be able to stick your dick in those broads. Whereas these women are into each other. They're not into you. Fishy lipstick lesbians, that means they're into each other. There's no chance of you slipping anything in anywhere. So, but of course, because it fulfills some sort of fantasy that y'all get to beat y'all meat to with the little videos that y'all be watching. Because this is how y'all learn about sex. You didn't learn it by, excuse me, sex ed classes or whatever the case is. A lot of you people learn sex by watching adult cinematography. And this is what y'all pass it down to your children. Now, you got to also realize you can't shelter kids forever. You can raise your kids however the hell you want to raise them. But you need to realize you ain't going to be able to shelter them forever. If you're telling them something that they feel that there's some sort of a shame or whatever the case is, they sense that. They're going to seek the information elsewhere. So you would think that you would mature yourself enough to be able to speak out on something that makes you uncomfortable. And you ain't even got to root it in sex. The baby's adopted. Or you could have said something that one of the mothers had the kid, met this other girl, she came into the relationship, and they became a couple. But the kid was already there. Or you could just kept it simple adoption. Keep them okay, kept it moving. The minute you start to give energy to something to make it seem like it's a negative, they sense that. And it passes on. Homophobia, racism, any kind of ism or hatred towards a demographic that you are not comfortable around, that's taught. That's not something that all kids are raised with. And then you got to think about something that comes in where you have queer people who, because they were raised in the church, they were taught a certain way about certain things. Oh, you going to hell because the indoctrination, the abomination, blah, 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 all that mess. So there's a deep-rooted shame with those children. Why they hide their sexuality. They out here carrying, doing or getting all kinds of things with the wrong crowd and a beat up, probably unalived, or whatever the case is. They, getting caught up in situations that you could have been protecting them with by giving them the right information. Nobody's saying you had to go into a whole spiel of teaching them about the birds and the bees. That comes at a certain point when you feel, they get a little older. Now, for this situation, you could just, like I said, they was adopted. And I understand uncomfortable, but when you said they putting that ish everywhere, to me, I'm about to clock you because, first of all, homosexuality is not in everything. Now, if you want to talk about sex is in everything, it is. Especially when we talk about Disney movies, Disney animated films and things of that nature. There's sex all throughout there. When you watch The Lion King, did you ever explain where Nala and Simba's kid came from? Because weren't they relatively young when they got together? Until we get to the end, and they were still relatively young when they became adults, but still, there was sex throughout that. There's sex and there's sexual things in Sleeping Beauty, Little Mermaid, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Sleeping Beauty. There's sexual things throughout all of those things. But this is the litmus because it's literally blatant two same-sex couples, or a same-sex couple, two genders coming together. That's because when it's blatantly there, then it's the problem because it's in your face. Because there's no metaphor. It's not it's not subtle. But queer people exist, and you want to teach your child that because when they go out in the real world, and they surprised that they see a gay person or a gay couple. That was like yesterday. And I had never seen like real out there queer people. I think it was like sort of non-binary or trans couple that I saw when I was on the bus coming home. And this is like in going towards like was like Hillside or whatever. Walking down the street, one had purple hair and everything. They holding hands. I'm looking at this other person. I'm like, I think they trans because I'm seeing boobs and things in the top. So little children and child, y'all probably gonna get mad at me. I don't give a fuck. This little nappy-headed ass Haitian child get off the bus with her mother and her little sister. I said, y'all out here doing y'all child's hair still. in 2025 looking like something straight out of Roots, not even doing their hair, making them look or whatever the case is, and you got the nerve to laugh at these queer people. But it's like, bitch, do you own a mirror? Did you look at yourself in the mirror and see how messed up and fucked up y'all look? But you out here trying to read these kids, these people for being themselves. Guarantee when you get old enough, them kids will be making fun of you. You're gonna be running a comb through that fucking head. But you want to sit up here and read these children over how they looking. Like I said, I don't give a fuck. Because if you want to sit up in here and try to throw homophobic things at people, especially when you of the black community, I'm reading your ass too. And to me, it's like how you sit there making fun of people when you ain't no prize package your goddamn self. So unless you shooting gold about your ass, then you should be out here. Well, quite as kept to be honest, even if you wealthy, you shouldn't be trying to read nobody. Because that's what Donald Trump doing. He got all his money and stuff trying to read people. And it's like, sir, do you own a mirror? We look like you melting in real time. So with all of that being said, because I didn't even get to the story yet, I just went on a whole with him going in and being mad over the whole, he talking about he didn't have an answer for it. It threw him for a loop. But if you think this is bad, then Curious Grandchild of yours comes across your back catalog of music. When you got to explain to them all them things you said in your video, I mean, in your songs, all them things you had in your music videos. When you have to explain all of that, how you going? Oh shit! I ain't come here for all that. It threw me for a loop. I want you to have that same energy, sir. So, in response to his comments, Lauren Gunderson, who worked on the Lightyear movie, she's a screenwriter. She took the threads to defend the child-friendly queer content. She said, and I have the post here, and I'm mad because it had comments, but I think they disabled them. And initially when the thing was up there, it had comments and everything, and a lot of it was relatively positive. So I guess maybe some people threw some negative stuff in there and they wound up disabling it. But I wanted to read to y'all some of the comments because I thought it was pretty good. She said, so I created the Lightyear Lesbians. In 2018, I was a writer at Pixar, such a cool place, grateful to work there. Learn a ton from kind and impressive creatives. As we wrote early versions of what became Lightyear, a key character needed a partner, and it was so natural to write she instead of he. As small as that detail is in the film, I knew the representational effect it would have. Small line, big deal. I was elated that they kept it. I'm proud of it. To infinity, love is love, and that's what we need to be teaching our kids. At the end of the day, love is love, and um all we want is representation. All we want is to be seen. That's all queer people want is to be seen. Now, if a sex scene so happens to be in a film, yeah, it's going to be an adult movie. We're not talking about you're going to be literally seeing two animated, females going down on each other, or you're not going to see another male super. You're not going to see Prince Charming rimming another dude. Nobody said that all that was going to be up in here, but of course, y'all got to make everything about sex. Y'all always got to take it there. I get that sex is in the word homosexual, but we ain't all about sex. Yeah, we fuck. Yeah, we get down when we need to, but we ain't all just out here hunching 24/7. First of all, we was doing all that. How I getting any work done? How would I be able to give you this damn show? How would I be able to do all the things that I need to do if I was out here fucking all damn day? It's impossible. So just like y'all be out here hunching and doing all the things, we do it too. We don't throw it in y'all face. And me growing up as a homosexual, we've been embargoed and had straight things shoved down our throats, especially growing up. Not saying my father did this because he didn't, but I've heard many of stories where you talk about kids whose fathers forced them into sports, made them do things that they didn't want to do because they ain't want no sissy and punk coming up in their house. I ain't raising no faggot, all that other stuff they be saying. So they put their sons in things so that way they turn out to be straight. Or you get the bussy situation where, oh, I don't want no F words up in my house. So you have grown ass women having sex with your underage son and his nephew so that way you could break them in. And where's CBS for that? Where's Child Protective Services? Because you should not be having no child. But of course, that's okay. It's okay for little boys to be sexually molested and abused and things of that nature. But a little girl doing it, we put all this extra pressure on girls in our society. So I'm glad that she spoke out. Hope that we get to a point where it is the norm. And then it doesn't have to be this thing that makes people feel weird or whatever the case is. We already know, like, there's no helping a lot of the Black community because y'all are so deeply rooted in homophobia and all that other stuff. I don't know what we can do to change the narrative or whatever the case is. You feel how you feel. People gonna live their life. Gays are always gonna be around. Trans people always gonna be around. Lesbians always gonna be around. The LGBTQ community, all the spectrums of the rainbow is gonna be around, whether you like it or not. And this also drives another question. When we talk about interracial relationships, I'm not talking about the hoteps, the ones that want to go out and or would they even be considered homoteps? No, they the ones that complain about the interracial relationships. But I think a lot of y'all need to understand the reason why a lot of these Black people get into relationships. I'm not talking about the ones that jump in a relationship because they want that close proximity to whiteness. I'm talking about the ones that get in relationships with interracial relationships because it is the only community that embraces them for being effeminate, from not being a stereotype of drugs, gang banging, you know, doing all the stereotypes that have been plagued on our community by white supremacists and white conglomerates. Especially when you're looking at hip hop and what it was built on, like not all of it, but when it came to that whole gangster rap situation, popping bottles and all that other mess that was going on with that, which he was a part of. He was the whole part of gangster rap era. So you can make millions of dollars perpetuating Black stereotypes, but showing people in love, that's the line that we're going to draw. Okay, got it, sir. And then there was a story that came out that said he apologized, that it was like, my bad, teach me how to be better. First of all, you too damn old to even be at this point. Number two, word on the curb was that whole thing about him, even with it being on his IG, that whole statement, they said it was a lie. He never came out and apologized, so I guess he's still standing 10 toes down, and that's fine. Some people said that they canceled Snoop Dogg the minute they saw that he performed for Donald Trump, and during his second situation. So they was done with him. And we know where you stand, sir. You like being in that close proximity of white supremacy, not even whiteness, but just the white supremacy, because you made millions of dollars off the backs of perpetuating some of the worst stereotypes regarding Black people. And now you're promoting homophobia. And then you go and make money performing for Trump. No one full on well, he's a racist. He don't care about Black. So at the end of the day, the bottom line is money. That's all you care about. Getting your bag. All bags ain't a good bag. Or as we like to say, all money ain't good money. So yeah, we need to talk about the whole idea of queer Black men dating outside their race. Because, when your own community tells you you're going to hell and they shun you for your femininity, of course they're going to gravitate towards a community that will embrace them for who they are. I think that's also why blurs get with white people too. Because when y'all tell the nerves that y'all corny, when you ain't got no swag, whatever the fuck that means. I march at the beat of my own goddamn drum. So fuck you and your swag or whatever you feel like is the definition of that. But I do think that's why a lot of Black, blurs, Black nerds, they go towards white people and things as well. Or they find like-minded people that are in that whole situation. It's because they get clowned by their own people for being different. So Snoop is a lost cause. Snoop is trash. Quite as this came, I was never really into Snoop like that. Like I tolerated, like we had some good bops. I tolerated him for the most part, but I was never like a really big fan. Y'all already know. Like first of all, I'm East Coast all the way, so I was always Biggie. Notorious B.I.G. was always like one of my all-time favorite rappers. And, I've always been about the East Coast rap and stuff. There's some good West Coast stuff, but I was never into y'all like that because, of course, I came up in the era of East Coast rap till I die. So it was them, Wu-Tang, Redman, Method Man, that sort of thing. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. I know this was a long one, but it's like when you breaking down a lot of the stuff that's going on in this story, it's something we need to talk about. Um, I forgot to bring up. You know what? There was a whole bunch of stuff that I mentioned. I forgot to mention also because remember they brought up in the Quiet on Set documentary when I grew up watching Nickelodeon. There was sexual undertones and stuff up that was in there as well. We didn't realize it then because we was young and naive, but you had grown people writing and working on these shows that were putting these actors in situations that they shouldn't have been put in. But we ain't know better. The parents was probably didn't know better either because they're trusting that these adults know what they're doing and trying to help their kids are famous and stuff. You don't want to rock the boat. Oh yeah, that was a long thing that I had written. I was like, damn, I should have read it. Maybe I will, and then we can wrap it up. But I was like, I know homophobic black people despises comparison. You can kindly get over it. But queer rights and civil rights go hand in hand. Lest we forget that there were queer people, including activist and labor union organizer Bayard Rustin, who marched alongside, I should say, Martin Luther King. Rustin even worked on MLK's campaigns, and he went from being just a measly minister to a civil rights leader. So the fact that we have a rapper who has made millions off of promoting the worst aspects of black culture, drugs, guns, and pimping, has a hard time explaining why Timmy has two mommies. Will it be hard for you to explain to your grandson why Shaquanda has 8 kids with 4 different men? Will it be hard to explain why some single black women are out here fighting to get child support from their raggedy kids because their absentee daddy hates their mother? We also haven't forgotten that you have promoted sex acts between women in the past, walked women on leashes, and appeared on an episode of The L Word. So why do you continue to be uncomfortable having to explain to your child about them living in a world where people are different than them? All that does is make them even more curious to seek out the information you're afraid to provide them with. No one said you had to tell them how 2 women do the clam shuffle. Yeah, I did write that. Just say the child was adopted and leave it at that. Everything regarding homosexuality is rooted in sex. The sooner ignorant people learn that there's no gay agenda and that queer people just want to live their lives and also be seen in a positive light, the better off we'll be. Representation matters and love is love. So yeah, that's all I gotta say on that. I was like, damn, I forgot because I went on the whole thing. I forgot to read like with my little opinion piece that I wrote with this article, but y'all got the gist of all of it. But yeah, so I definitely want to hear from y'all, good or bad, respectfully though. Don't be up in these comments trying to be extra nasty because your ass will get blocked. So I definitely want to hear from y'all, a respectful conversation in regards to this. I felt like I hope I hit all the notes and everything in regards of what I need to say on this, and people gonna be setting their ways, and that's fine. But let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, exactly. A Trump follower. I guess you can't be different in the black community at all. Rather be a monolith because they have that white mindset. Yeah, and also it comes from a place of black people have been ostracized by white folks for so long that it's like when there's a point that we can move away from us getting picked on, we gonna go into the thing and pick on the other because at least, you know, they foot us off our net. And that's why I liked what Marlon Wayans said. Damn, I should have brought that in the damn story. So he said, I'm tired of defending this N word. I defended him on his criminal itch, the Gayle King situation, and I took heat for defending him online when he performed for Trump. But this crosses the line. Sooner or later, you just realize someone has issues. There ain't no Hollywood agenda to turn kids gay. That's the dumbest ish I ever heard. Disney characters lie, steal, cheat, kill, poison, and everything, and don't nobody say it's an agenda to turn their kids into a POS, every piece of ish. I wanted Snow White. I mean, I watched Snow White even when I was a kid, and I ain't give a bitch a poison apple yet. I cackled at that part. But As soon as a gay character pops up, it's an agenda. The agenda is to make your kids empathetic, not gay. White people acted the same way when black people started when black people started being seen on TV. And that's true. I know people hate the comparison, but why not? Discrimination is discrimination. Discrimination doesn't know sexual orientation. It doesn't know race. It doesn't know age. It doesn't know all the other stuff, but y'all do it. So yeah. Um, There, all those characters that exist. What you talking about the ones that lie, steal, and cheat and something? No, probably not, because there wasn't that many black folk. And look, even back in the day, Disney was putting out these little racist cartoons and stuff, which they regretted. And now, if you go on Disney Plus or any of these places, you can't find no footage of them racist cartoons. But with the times they evolve, and people need to evolve, and a lot of y'all bigotry and ignorance, because queer people exist in the community, whether you want to deal with it or not. Why does this kept? There's some look, they be in your choirs, they make your little movies. That one that lived down in Atlanta, they make all them tight ass black trauma films for y'all to sit and consume ad nauseum. So queer people exist. They're not going anywhere. Oh, who is this? Yeah, one of my friends said, "I know you live right now, but did you see this? What is going on?" No. Why is this popping up? I don't know. It's something about Lipo Lee. I'm like, what's going on? Oh, he got a lawsuit unlocked. Hold on. Who's the lawsuit for? Oh, is it the healthcare situation? Damn, I messed up. Hold on, I gotta go back to that. 'Cause I'm like, wait a minute. Jason Lee's in a lawsuit. Here's a lawsuit unlocked. Over the years, I've been very specific about the litigation I pursue because it's costly and takes a lot of time. I only litigate what I believe either A causes harm to me, my reputation, my brands, or other, and B, any bad business that steals, destroys, or somehow undermines our agreements. Hold on, let me pull this up for y'all because I'm like, what is going on? And look, y'all gotta stop sending me shit in the middle of my damn show. Not this child up in here. Look, this is why I hate when I be opening stuff. Like now I got a child twerking in booty shorts. First thing. Okay, so I think the only was I was gonna say Lipo Lee, but it's Jason Lee. Oh yeah, I got it. So hold on. 'Cause I'm like, what is happening? Yeah, I'm like, what is happening up in here? So yeah, it said this 10 what's that $10 million lawsuit is not about money alone. Oh, he's going after enhance health. I'm done with all the above. This $10 million lawsuit is not about money alone. Damages is just what's owed. It's about the commitment we made to help marginalized groups of people and low income families get access to quality, affordable health care. Healthcare Unlocked, an extension of Hollywood Unlocked, as a was a promise and commitment to make healthcare and getting healthier cool. Enhanced healthcare took advantage of me, my platform, my partners, my employees, and more importantly, the consumer. Now they must pay. See you in court at Walter Mosley. Let's go, child. It's getting messy on these streets. I'm like, damn, Jason, what happened? I mean, I did hear that there was a lawsuit or something, that there was some kind of drama going on with him and um what is it called? The Healthy Unlocked or whatever. I remember that I did hear something or another that there was a lawsuit that was brewing. I guess this is the whole thing. I don't really care enough to go through the whole carousel. But I did hear that to answer your question, I don't know if you watch. But it was like I did hear about it. I just didn't care enough to report on it. But okay, Jason, you go ahead and you try to see if you get your $10 million. All right, Johnson. Now let's move on. And let's see, what's the next story we get into? Okay, let's get into this Bruce Willis story. So I'm sure you probably heard by now that Bruce Willis, he suffers from frontal temporal dementia. And he's really been going through it mentally. Like he's on this huge mental decline. And most recently, his wife appeared on a podcast well, not even a podcast, it was actually an interview with Diane Sawyer for the special Emma and Bruce Willis, The Unexpected Journey. It came out last Wednesday. So a lot of people are getting pissed off at her because apparently they live in separate homes. One where she has her and her family and everything, and they're, doing their thing. He lives in a separate home where he has 24-hour medical care, and people are upset over it. Why isn't he in the same house with you? Well, she clapping back at her haters and said the following. That he said now in an Instagram video, she's defending how her family has approached the diehard star's lifestyle amid his frontal temporal dementia diagnosis, which has affected his ability to communicate. Willis said the ABC News interview did a beautiful job with amplifying FTD awareness as well as shining a spotlight onto caregivers. But she also acknowledged that she knew the special would ruffle some feathers when it came to her sharing some of our intimate information with the world. Oh, excuse me. Willis described the reactions to the interview as being divided between people with an opinion versus people with actual experience, noting that the latter category has far more insight into caregiving than the former. She also read an excerpt from her upcoming book, The Unexpected Journey, which discusses her experience as a caregiver, saying everyone will have an opinion, but you have to remind yourself that most don't have the experience to back it up. And if that's the case, they shouldn't offer their 2 cents about it, and you shouldn't pay them any mind. Even if someone is closely familiar with dementia or the condition you're caring for, there they aren't in your home, so they don't know how the person is behaving or your family dynamics. She added that she's doing her best to keep the negative criticism out of her mind, saying, quote, the truth is that the opinions are so loud, they're so noisy, but if they don't have the experience of this, they don't get to say, and they don't get a say, and they definitely don't get a vote. Well, she has they said that she acted alongside him in the films Perfect Stranger and Red 2, is also an advocate for caregivers in the caption of her post, saying too often caregivers are judged quickly and unfairly by those who haven't lived this journey or stood on the front lines of it. Sharing openly may invite opinions, but most importantly, it creates connection and validation for those actually navigating the realities of caregiving that every day. That's who I share for. And so I could build a deeper connection with the community that understands the journey. And I do agree with that. It's like, you know what? First of all, they have 2 kids together. Mabel, who's 13, and Evelyn, who's 11. He also has 3 kids from a previous relationship. That would be with Demi Moore. Rumor, who's 37, Scout, who's 34, and Tallulah, who's 31. Now, I'm going to go on the record and say this. I've actually met Bruce Willis twice. Once I met him at the Live Free or Die Hard premiere at Radio City. Second time, I told you the story when I worked at the Big Apple Circus. He was actually in my section with I think he only had 1 kid at the time. So it was like, or maybe it was like both of them, because it was like, I'm trying to remember when was this that happened. It was like maybe 5 years ago. I think he had both of the kids with him, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he was with his kids, he was with the wife, and there was a whole situation. There was just like in the middle of the show, he decided to get up. He wanted to go to concession and get his kids some things, some popcorn, whatever the case was. So I didn't know like we didn't know the ins and outs of the show yet. So then later on, we have found out from some people, they were like, you know what, if people are gonna get up and go, or whatever, let them go during the show. We'll probably work it in, whatever the case is, because I know people was getting upset that we had people moving in and out in the middle of, we had our host moving throughout the floor and everything. So I was like, so I was telling one of the ushers, because I was the head usher at the time. I was like, tell him to wait, or tell the guy to wait, or whatever the case was. Like, give it a second, and we'll let him go. Not realizing it was Bruce Willis. When I looked, I was like, wait a minute. I realized it was him. And that's why I was like, oh my God, that was Bruce Willis. He turned every shade of red, like, oh my God, just told whatever. He was cool about everything. So he's relatively a nice guy. The 2 times that I met him, especially at the thing. Then all of a sudden, word spread out like wildfire Bruce Willis is here. Bruce Willis is in the building. Blah, 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 blah. Then all of a sudden, everybody wanted to get a goddamn photo, and it pissed me off because I'm like, first of all, he's in my section. I saw that he was there, and now all of a sudden, everybody want to get their little moment, whatever. Well, if you want your moment, in the words of Jasmine Kennedy, have it. So no, so but to get back on this, I totally understand. Sometimes you got to make drastic decisions. It's like, yeah, I have him living in a separate home, and him being a celebrity, a famous actor, a big movie star. They can afford to have him somewhere separate. It's like you don't necessarily know what his mood swings are. You don't necessarily know what the beats and the things that you having to deal with somebody who has a case of dementia, where it's like, yeah, your mind is deteriorating. You're becoming like a almost you're an adult in an adult body, but you're becoming like a child. You don't want to scare your kids in a situation where it's like they're still not wrapping their head around what their dad is going through, that their father is just deteriorating before their eyes. That is like one slow, crazy death and how he's a prisoner of his mind. So no one knows what this man is going through. Y'all just looking at the celebrity like, oh, you just taking advantage of him, or you just kind of just dumped him with these people. But if she has experience in this world, if she knows what's best for her husband, I'd rather him in a separate home than in a hospice. Now, if she put his ass in a hospice, then I'd be like, oh no, bitch. Then we can read her down to the floor. But at least she has him in a house separate from where they're living. And he's getting the round the clock help that he needs. Because no one understands the level of I don't know about frontotemporal dementia. I know people who suffer from dementia. My cousin currently is taking care of her mother who suffered from dementia. My aunt is currently suffering from dementia, and she's dealing with a lot of the situation. I hear the stories. So no one knows what it's like to deal with somebody who's going through this thing. And I feel like people need to stop judging people if you're not if you don't have a grasp of what these people are dealing with. So have some kind of compassion, have some kind of empathy, and have some kind of understanding. Where's the old Chris going? Because before I just be going in, but I feel like maybe you know what that comes with age and maturity. It's like you try to see all the sides of a situation. And look, for y'all just thinking that all she doing is dumping Bruce on these medical professionals, she says she visits her husband at least 2 times a day. And that the single story home that he's in is easier for the actor to navigate. And that's true. Because my mother's saying this. She wanna because my parents they own like a 3-story house. My mother's like, at her getting her age, she's gonna be 70 in January. My father just turned 71 last month, August 21st. My mother says that she want a single floor house, tired of walking up and down the steps and all this other mess. That takes its toll on your body. And I totally understand that when you're an older person and you're dealing with his situation, you don't want to fall down. I said, my grandfather is 90 years old, 91. No, I think he turned 91 in November. He fell down the steps at one point and he lives in a 3-story house. And so they had to move everything down to the dining room, his bed and everything. So when you get to be a certain age, it's like, yeah, you got to make things as easy for you to get around. And to me, it's like, yeah, if you're in a house where it's like she can go up and down the steps, the daughters can go up and down the steps. I know some people are like, well, why don't you get an elevator? Well, what makes you think that the house has an elevator? Y'all got to answer for everything. But if you feel like it's better, then you come up with the money. And plus, on top of that, she could be up doing some stuff around the house or whatever the case is, and Bruce kind of just walks off and does whatever. You never know when it comes to these people. Like, yeah, he running around roaming free around the house. The excuse me, all it takes is for that healthcare worker to turn their back 2 seconds, and he bolting, God forbid, fall down the steps or something happen. So a 1-story home is the much better situation. So she said, yeah, we are there a lot. It's our second home. So the girls have their things there. It's a house that is filled with love and warmth and care and laughter. And it's been beautiful to see that. She also said that it's one of the hardest decisions she ever had to make. But I knew first and foremost, Bruce would want for our daughters. He would want them to be in a home that was more tailored to their needs, not his needs. So Nobody knows the man personally. Nobody knows exactly what he wants except for the people that have been in his life. And I would think that his wife would know best. And look, like I said, she's not treating him like crap. He's not being abused. Like according to Wendy Williams, how she's being abused in her whole situation. So as long as there's love and warmth and things are being done to help him with his needs, that's all that matters. That he's getting the help that he needs. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So now let's move on. Let's talk about the Williams. Oh, I can't even do it. You do it. When the voice fully come back, I'll be able to do the whole situation. But yeah, since we talking about frontotemporal dementia and what Bruce Willis recently is going through with that whole situation, all the criticism his wife is currently enduring based on their arrangement. Now Wendy has given us some tea. She said she's not interested in coming back to TV. That what she wants to do is public speaking. She wants to go around the world and do public speaking and talk about her experience being caught up in a conservatorship. And to me, no shade, I think this is a great idea. That she can go around the speaking arrangements and talk about this whole situation. She's gonna probably need somebody to be up in there assisting her. So, because no shade, I do think Wendy is not 110%. I do think there's some cognitive situations going on. But the way that they're treating her in this whole conservatorship, I do feel like it is something that, excuse me, is unjust. And she definitely needs to be, she needs help getting out of this. But she also needs round the clock care, kind of like what Bruce Willis is getting. So sources told Page Six that Williams, who's 61, has thought about going on a speaking tour to advocate for guardianship protections and has no desire to return to her former job as a TV host. Williams rose to fame, as y'all know, as a DJ before landing her own TV show focusing on pop culture, but is now reportedly seeking to shift her focus toward assisting those who may be facing struggles in their own guardianships. The former daytime TV queen has been living in a luxury assisted living facility in New York since being placed under court-ordered guardianship, but, excuse me, under Sabrina Morrissey in 2022. No, another thing. I think Sailor Mermaid, friend to the show, said that he and Wendy live in the same damn building down in Midtown. The former daytime queen, they say it's just an idea, but she thinks it's important. She wants to maybe do panels and help facilitate it and talk about how to protect families from guardianships. She wants to talk about how to get out of it and all the red flags. This is what a source told Page Six, saying she wants to bring this issue to the stage. Williams' lawyer, Joe Tacopina, also recently said his client was aware of the advantages her celebrity could bring to the cause, saying, here's the great thing about Wendy Williams. What she's said to me once, more than once actually, is, Joe, I wish I weren't in this situation. I really do. But if someone were going to be in this situation, better to be me with a platform so I can expose this system to some individual who gets caught in a vortex of a horrific guardianship situation where you can't get out. And I do agree with that. She definitely has the platform to do so. And I always say sometimes it takes a celebrity going through some mess for people to all of a sudden want to pay attention and really have sympathy and empathy. Because if you're just a regular person, y'all don't give a damn because you don't know them. But you know Wendy Williams. You had her in your homes 5 days a week for 13 years. So you feel like you know her. And you love that she had the gift of gab and she would go in and just talk so much shade about these celebrities. See, I was living. I was living too. And I do think this is a great move for her because honestly, I don't think that Wendy Williams will be able to come back and be the queen of all media doing the pop culture thing. I just don't think mentally she has the wherewithal to really fully encapsulate and to say the things that need to be said in regards to celebrities. Because I do think that from all the years of alcohol abuse that she's put herself under, there is some damage done to her brain. When you drinking bottles that straight to the head, when you taking bottles of liquor straight to the head, passing out, it causes a cognitive, holes in the brain where you put yourself in alcohol induced dementia type situations. So I truly believe that she has done a lot of damage to her. But as far as like the conservatorship goes, I do think she needs to be out of this conservatorship. I do feel like she needs to be in a situation similar to Bruce Willis until she can't be able to fully, do her thing, round the clock care. Excuse me, where she has a lot of nurses and things that are helping her do the things that, help her with all the things that she needs. Financial help, a financial protector. Because don't put little Kev on it. Kev is the reason why she in this mess in the first place. With him spending up all her damn money, $100,000 on some damn Uber Eats, among other things. So these are the things that she needs to look out for and she needs to be careful about. But I do think like the going around being a public speaker, going on panels, that sort of thing. I definitely think this is a great idea. I'm here for it. And I hope this is something that she pursues. So I'm hoping that her lawyers get her out of this mess and that she's able to use her platform for something good because I definitely think that she could be that person because she's been through it. But her days as like a pop culture connoisseur, those days are done. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards to Wendy Williams saying that she has no interest in coming back and hosting a TV show and getting, I guess, doing a podcast, even though that was something she had talked about before. But I would not be surprised if her last attorney, the jeweler that she decided to make her damn manager, not attorney manager, that he was the one. What was the name? Will Selby? That he decided to put her up to the whole podcast thing. We're trying to capitalize off of, you know, her going through while she was on the influence of drugs and all that other stuff. So I don't think that she has the ability to do all of that. But I could definitely see her on a panel talking about this situation and trying to help other people get out of it. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You said I was watching an old Wendy episode yesterday morning that the Wendy archive posted. Mariah Carey tells all in a new memoir. You could definitely tell she was over it in the last. She was because I think that's when she was going through her stuff, self medicating and forgetful. Wendy was a mess in that last season. Rachel. Okay, so now we're about to get into our final four topics. So before we get to those final four topics of the show, if you could please do me a solid and hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash that notification bell. So that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Later on after the live stream, I will be putting in timestamps. So that way those who come in for the playback can go to the topics that tickle their fancy instead of having to sit through all the banter that we do during the live stream. Please and thank you. But without further ado, let's get into some homosexual news. And let's talk about this movie. I didn't even know it had a name. Apparently, it's called The Noche. And this is the film that Todd Haynes was supposed to be making down in Mexico. They had built all the sets and everything. They were ready to go. Joaquin Phoenix was attached alongside Jessica Alba new boo, Danny Ramirez. Supposed to make this movie. It was a same-sex film and all this other stuff. Like they were a week away. Joaquin decides to drop out. No explanation. Just dropped out. So we thought this was the end of the film. Now comes word that Pedro Pascal, my other husband, who y'all like to say is overexposed in the industry, is interested in taking the Joaquin Phoenix role. And because Pedro is like one of the biggest movie stars of the moment, I could definitely see this film gaining some traction, definitely getting made because with his name and his cachet, I could definitely say, I know some people are like, oh, well, he's not a box office draw. Well, guess what? If I'm not mistaken, I believe Fantastic Four already grossed the 500 across the $500 million mark. Let me check. Fantastic Four box office gross. Not a picture chair. Yeah, so it said Fantastic Four First Steps crosses $500 million global box office. So in total, 75 offshore markets rustled up 12.5 million for 103.5 international cum and 176.5 global so far. So yeah, so the film is still, it's trekking along, but it's made over $500 million. So it's doing good, not great. I don't know necessarily how much money what the budget was. I honestly don't know what the budget for the movie is. I'm assuming it's got to be between 150 and $200 million. And then, of course, on top of that, how much did you pay to market the film? So Pedro Pascal has been in some relatively interesting movies as of late. A lot of the movies have been coming out around the same time, so I could definitely see why people are saying this. He's overexposed. But I will say this: I was devastated when I heard we weren't going to get this movie. I was like, so now we're not going to get the film. I like Todd Haynes' work, but um now that Pedro is a part of it, I'm excited. And this is according to Deadline. They said, according to sources, the plan is for the feature to get up and running in the new year in Guadalajara, Mexico. And a lot of that is being worked around the four-time Emmy-nominated actor's busy schedule from now until 2026. Because I don't know if y'all know this, and I forgot to bring this up, but now that I remember, I'm going to say it before I forget it. I don't know if a lot of y'all know this, but Pedro was supposed to be in Weapons. He actually had initially signed on to play oh my God, what is his damn name? That played Thanos. Why is it's like all of a sudden today I cannot remember names because y'all know I'm under the weather. I'm drawing blanks on a lot of stuff. Josh Brolin. It came to me just as much as I was stalling. When I stall, it usually comes. He was originally supposed to play the Brolin role, but I can't remember which part that he was up for. Hold on, because I know I'm sick now. I feel my nose running. I apologize. So, um, yeah, so he was up for the Josh Brolin role, but apparently, I guess he had to drop out due to scheduling conflicts. So, um, it didn't work out. But to be honest, when I watched the film, I'm actually glad that he didn't do it or um, that he actually got sidestepped. I'm actually glad that he didn't end up doing it because Um, the thing that actually happened to work out was that with Josh Brolin being in the film, I feel like he brought a sense of nuance. I mean, I don't know what Pedro would have brought. Maybe Pedro would have brought some kind of um intensity. But me, when I was watching Josh Brolin in that film, I definitely felt, excuse me, what he brought to the character. And I actually like what he brought to the film. So I'm not mad that they actually brought in Josh Brolin. He was a much better choice, in my opinion. So um So yeah, they said that they're trying to fit his schedule from now until 2026. Now, this is a great ray. This is the great ray of sunshine for a production that is long considered kaput after Oscar winner Joaquin Phoenix left the production after reportedly being a no-show on set for 2 weeks prior to its unplugging. So, and this is another thing I don't like about him. Like, don't sit up here and try to pander to the gays and try to get all the, Mr. I'm an intense actor, blah, 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 and then you're not going to come up here and actually deliver. Because the word on the curb is the movie's supposed to be NC-17. So, and it was never known exactly why Joker Oscar winner Phoenix departed the Noche. Vachon waved off gossip at last year's San Sebastian Film Festival, and that was one of the people that worked on the set. Their last name is Vachon, whatever. They said it was a tragedy that Haynes' film fell apart. Pedro would join Danny Ramirez, who was originally attached to the project. They'll play two men in love who leave Los Angeles for Mexico. The feature set in the 1930s. Christine Vachon and Pamela Koffler's Killer Films is producing. Killer recently worked with Pascal on A24 summer romantic comedy Materialist, which I know y'all feel a way about that film. A lot of people say, but look, the movie made $85 million worldwide. So while y'all looking at that movie as a flop, it's actually in so many ways a hit, especially when rom-coms are kind of like struggling a bit when it comes to the movies and things. Quiet as it's kept, some people say they'd rather it just been a rom-com with Chris Evans and Pedro, and y'all could have just took Dakota Johnson out of the damn film. And even quieter as it's kept, I think that probably would have been a better rom-com. We would have rather seen them two going at it. Now, Pascal, they also said that He's nominated for this year's Emmys, at this year's Emmys for The Last of Us in the Best Actor Drama Series category. It's his second Emmy now. It's Emmys coming out this month. We're in September. He was also nominated for The Last of Us in Actor TV Drama at the 2024 Golden Globes. And then they get into who he's repped by and blah blah blah. Okay, whatever. But we don't care about all that. Unless you care about CAA and all that mess. But I definitely think this is a great move. To me, two Latinos hunching. I love that already. This would be the best n- sexual relations between two Latin men I've seen on the big screen since Enrique Cruz released Apprende back in the day. Now that was my movie. If you know, you know. So seeing Danny Ramirez fine ass going at it with uh Pedro's fine behind. Oh, I'm here for it. I'm still kind of mad that he out here hunching Jessica Alba. I'm gonna consider that as a publicity stunt because I don't want it to ruin my fantasy. But these two, yes, honey, bring it on. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Are you happy that there may be a possibility that yes, this movie is back on? Like I said before, I didn't even know it was called The Noche. I didn't even know it had a name. All I knew was there was a movie that Joaquin Phoenix was going to do. To me, Pedro was the much better looking one anyway. When I look at Joaquin, he's an odd beauty. As they say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But seeing Pedro and Danny in this, oh, I'm here for it. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Funny enough, I feel like with my voice cracking and stuff, I feel like I'm channeling Bob the Drag. Y'all know how he be sounding when he be talking. I'm here for anything with Pedro Pascal. He's the only one who hate him or heterosexual men because the article stated men be less Andrew Tate and more Pedro Pascal. He's not misogynistic. Look, I know the rumors is out there. Some people think he's a homosexual, and if he is, and what? So what? Because this wouldn't be the first time that you had somebody like someone that had multitude of LGBT siblings. Because I remember there was one girl that was like all her siblings was gay. I mean, the whole family. Where it's like, wait, wait, hold on, mute. Okay, I'm back. Wait, is Chloe Grace Moretz whole family gay? Like she got a gay brother. She married a woman. We get into that story later on too. She married a woman over the weekend. I think like the whole family are homosexuals. So, and then when you seen that show on Project Rumor with the gay twins, so yeah. JD Vance is worried the NFL will allow the Chiefs to win. Oh, shut up. First of all, it's not about whether or not they allowing it. And why is he worrying about that? What you need to be worrying about is doing your job or non-existent job at the White House. Um, no, he's not. That's why I say he ain't never gonna beat them allegations. Cause they're like, and the allegations start with, oh, he's a 50-year-old Latino male. He's not married. You never seen him in a relationship. He doesn't have kids. So automatically he's gay. And he might be. And if he is, it is what it is. Honestly, I think it's a Pardo because I was thinking of JD Pardo, who, oh my God, that man is so damn sexy. Y'all know who JD Pardo is from Mayans? He also played the Toretto's father in Fast and the Furious. That is a sexy man. He was the Latino Jax from like Sons of Anarchy. He was on that show. Oh, I love me some JD Pardo. And he said, I believe Pedro is straight with. I'm like, girl, first of all, I would be like, why would Jessica go along with that? Because maybe she wants to use that as a way to help boost her damn career. Because we ain't been talking about Jessica Alba in a month of Sundays. I mean, yeah, she did a little Netflix movie. It was all right, but we ain't talking about Jessica Alba like we did back in the 2000s. All right, y'all. So now let's move on. It's some more movie news. Well, let's talk about Jinkx Monsoon, who wants to be in an X-Men movie. She said she put her name out there. And one of the things I love about Jinkx Monsoon has definitely been tearing it up on Broadway. Like she's definitely doing her thing out on Broadway right now. She's also appeared in Doctor Who and a bunch of other shows. But now she's ready to take on the MCU and said that she want to play Mystique, who was previously helmed by Jennifer Lawrence and Rebecca Romaine. I think she was Stamos at the time. So the old Mary Broadway star jokingly said that she told her agent to start dropping my name for the role. Actually, I have the clip. I'm gonna play it for y'all, and then we'll come back and we'll talk. So,
Can I manifest something?
Sure,
with you?
yeah.
Marvel now has regained the rights to X-Men. I think it would be a really cool idea to have a trans woman be Mystique. She is my favorite Marvel character of all time. And I relate to her so much. And I think a lot of trans people do. And we think about how nice it would be to be able to just blend in and not have everyone pay attention to us if we don't want. And then we also relate to the fact that, like, she's not accepted in her original form. So she has to transition to even walk around people. I texted my agent that I was like, I don't know what's going on there, but please start dropping my name.
And she would be correct because I've always looked at there's some I mean, back in the day, I didn't really see it, but now when you get older and you sort of understand about transitioning, and when you look at Mystique, yes, she transforms into other characters. And that may have been back then a trans allegory. Who knows? But if that's what a lot of queer people have taken from that, then I could definitely see it's kind of like when you look at The Matrix, for example. There were characters, but there was something about, when they get jacked in and they transition and become these different characters. There was quite a few trans allegories that was throughout The Matrix. Who knew down the road that the Wachowski brothers would become Lily and Lana Wachowski, and they would transition and they both be transgender? Who knew? We know that now. That when you look back on The Matrix, like, oh, I definitely see it. And then, excuse me, there was the character of Switch, where that character, I guess, from what I heard, they wanted to use two different characters that I think I could have it wrong in reverse, but I believe in the real world, Switch was supposed to be a woman. In the Matrix, Switch was supposed to be a man, or it might be the other way around. But I remember hearing that story. So when you look at Switch in the Matrix, Switch looks androgynous. They look like genderless. Like you can't tell if it's a man or a woman. And I think that that's what they want to put in it. But Warner Brothers was against it, so they had to kind of find a little compromise. Yeah, we could have the female, but have them look like gender ambiguous, which I definitely think works for the film. And I'm sure the actress that played Switch wasn't aware of it, but I'm sure the Wachowskis were when they were coming up with the story. So when you look at a character like Mystique, and when you look at X-Men in general, and a lot of others feel they resonate with X-Men. And I've always said at this point, I feel like we need to hire a trans actor to play Mystique. But you already know the name that I had was Hunter Schafer. And I think it's because Hunter is younger. Hunter could possibly do action. I don't know what the level of action is, because when Hunter is also supposed to be in Blade Runner 2099, that show is supposed to come out, I believe, at the top of 2026 with Michelle Yeoh. I don't necessarily know what this character is that Hunter is playing, or if a lot of who she's playing in the show requires her to do any kind of physical action stuff. But I'm sure, like, with the right training and stuff, you can have her up in there doing all kinds of crazy stunts and things of that nature, and put her under all the, the makeup and hours of all that other stuff. So why not? I definitely feel like at this point, Mystique needs to be played by a trans person because it makes sense. And trans people definitely resonate with that character. Now, I love you, Jinkx Monsoon. I don't necessarily know if I could see you as that character, and I see like you lost a hell of a lot of weight. And I met Jinkx back in the day when I worked when it was like what was it? Literally 5 of us that were working in media at the time. And I got to host, well, not host, but I got to interview her at the finale of her season when they held it at XL. And I got to interview her and a whole bunch of other queens from the show. And Jinkx was lovely. So you've come a long way where you were trying to figure out and find your way and all this other stuff, and that to where you are now. So you definitely had the career that you've always dreamed of. So I would definitely love to see a trans woman in it. I don't necessarily know if I want to see Jinkx necessarily, but I just hope the next person that becomes Mystique that y'all don't be out here bitching and moaning like Jennifer Lawrence was playing that part. I'm like, bitch, you need to be grateful you got this part because you started getting on my nerves at a point in your career. And now you're doing roles here and there. But yeah, back in the day, I felt like she was a nuisance. But yeah, so good luck to you and good luck to whoever gets this part. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Do you agree? Can you see Miss Mary Todd Lincoln, because that's what she's playing, and Oh Mary? Could you see Jinx Monsoon playing this part? Or as I like to say, as I've said before, my hat has always been for Hunter Schafer. And that's what I want to see in that. But we already know, and maybe y'all don't know this, but you should know about now because it's been out here. Rebecca Romaine is reprising her role as Mystique in the upcoming Avengers Doomsday movie. So I don't know what the whole point, the idea of maybe they're trying to do some multiverse thing where they're gonna, I don't know, but they're bringing a lot of the old X-Men back to be a part of this thing. We'll see what they do with that and where they plan on taking this whole thing in the future with that and Secret Wars and all this other stuff. Because at this point, yes, it is time y'all cast younger for X-Men. So that way y'all gotta have this franchise go on for a long time. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Child, you know everything when it comes to reading. I'm talking about not under this administration. It said Birdo from the Super Mario franchise is canonically a trans woman. Really? I'm glad y'all all kind of see all this stuff because I don't really be playing a lot of these games and stuff, so I wouldn't even have known a lot of that. But thank you for letting me know. So it's like, yeah, there are trans characters that exist, but they feel like if you really point it out and you make it on the nose, then they come out with this fake outrage, which is annoying, by the way. Now, speaking of fake ass outrage, let's get into this Colman Domingo tea, because apparently the girls is out here, or a lot of you trolls, I should say, are mad because Colman Domingo appears in Sabrina Carpenter's new video for Tears. Now I was minding my business. I didn't even know she was gonna drop a video. But it was, I think it was yesterday when it came out or the day before. I know it was yesterday when I finally got around. I think it was yesterday when it came out because I was watching, what was that? I was working the Mets game. And I happened to be like, okay, let me sit down and finally watch the video while I'm waiting for the train or whatever. And I was living. I was loving the video. I love the Rocky Horror reference. Immediately I got it because Rocky Horror is one of my favorite movies. And Coleman came out as, of course, Dr. Frankenfurter. And one of the silver linings I say about this that I like about Sabrina, she chose a black, openly queer man to play. I'm not, and this is no shade to Tim Curry. I almost said Tim Burton. Tim Curry. But to see the fact that she chose a black queer person to play Dr. Frankenfurter, I was living for instead of just some old white girl, because y'all be quick to go with the whites. But she was like, oh no, I'm gonna pick a man of color, which I love. And Colman Domingo is hot right now, so why not? Look, uh, Pedro can't be in every damn thing. So the Oscar-nominated actor was too busy celebrating after making his music video debut in the video for Sabrina Carpenter's new single "Tears." But as usual, some social media users can't help but own in on the negativity. So one Twitter user complained of Domingo's role, "Hollywood ain't ish. Coleman Domingo is a solid actor. Had to put him in drag in Sabrina Carpenter's video, huh? Bullish." Well, what makes you think that Coleman Domingo didn't want to do it? And for those of y'all want to say that, oh, he's a solid actor and he's doing this that, and the other. Do you know, like, his first gig, how he broke through? He was on the Big Gay Sketch Show that was on Logo, but of course y'all don't know that because you ain't been following his career as long as I have. And Coleman, if you actually did the research instead of ranting and raving and running your ass over to the goddamn Twitter to tweet your bigotry and vitriol, he's openly been on red carpets with his husband. So for y'all to be out here so quick to talk about gay agendas and y'all trying to emasculate men, when Madonna has said many a times, or she said it once at the VMAs, only a real man can walk in my shoes. And we've seen it. So if it's not for you, it's not for you. But stop with this emasculating BS. I'm tired of y'all with this foolishness. Now, even though he wasn't tagged in the post, he did pen a response. He said, "It's a character, like all the characters I play. Calm down, brother. Enjoy the video and the fun that it possesses. Dance it out. It ain't that deep." Yeah, because it's like, then y'all make fun of people. People don't dance because y'all make fun of them. Oh, that's gay. There was one story I was hearing where somebody was talking about that, well, girl thinking it was gay because a man wanted sprinkles on his ice cream cone. So what? Having sprinkles is gay? Wiping your ass is gay? Like doing anything is considered gay right now. So we're not supposed to have no emotion, can't have an opinion, can't do anything, but just be miserable because your ass is miserable. And you want everybody to feel the way you feel. You could suck the shit out my ass on that one. Because I'll be out here living my life while you miserable in a damn corner. Tell me what I can and cannot fucking wear. Suck my ass. He then offered some wisdom from legend RuPaul, saying, "We are born naked, and well, he said everything else. She said, "You're born naked, and the rest is drag." But he said, "We all born naked, and everything else is drag. Suits, t-shirts, dresses, all drag." That is the truth, because the real you, when you take off all them clothes, that's your makeup, that's your body, that's your thing. When you throw a t-shirt and jeans on, that's drag. When you throw on a skirt, that's drag. When you throw on a suit and tie, that's drag. So we're all dressing in drag. When you go to them sports events and you seeing them people in them uniforms, that's their drag. So it's all drag. But of course, I don't see it that way because clothes don't make the man, as I like to say. So the music video sees Carpenter come under the tutelage of Domingo's fashionable and magnetic character. Picking up where her man-child video left off earlier this summer, the video sees Carpenter stumble from the wreckage of a car crash only to be greeted by Domingo, who invites her in for a sultry makeover and disco-infused dance break with his fellow queens. All the while, she sings about her dream of dating a man who treats her with some basic human decency. She actually kills off um a guy in the video too because she's like, "Oh no, all my male co-stars have to die in every video." So I like the fact that she's playing that up. And no shade, but actually when I looked at Colman Domingo, why did I think that was Monique Hart or Mo Hart? That's what it was giving. Then it was like, "Oh, that's Colman Domingo. That's not a rude girl." So um oh, so it came out on Friday, by the way. I thought it was oh yeah, that's when I saw it because it was Friday when I was at City Field. That's when I seen it. I don't know. You know, my day's been blurred. I've literally worked every day. I worked 7 days straight. So I don't even know whether I'm coming or going at this point. So his appearance, they said Common Dancing and Drag with Sabrina Carpenter was not on my bingo card for 2025, but here we are. That's what one person said on Twitter. Another responded resharing the post with a laugh crying emoji and writing, "Didn't see that coming, did you? Thank you, Sabs, for inviting me to truly play." The only clue of Domingo's appearance in the video came approximately 1 minute before it debuted, about to break the internet. "Tears, protect all the dolls," he wrote in the 11:59 p.m. post, the latter phrase being an expression of support for trans women. Carpenter also celebrated the collaboration between the two stars when she first shared the Bardia's Zainali directed video on Instagram. She made sure to honor the truly incomparable, magnetic, and fantastic Coleman Domingo, adding, "Wish we were still dancing in the street at 4 a.m. So you are a dream." So yeah, so this is, of course, to coincide with her, and I know some people are shocked to hear this. This is Man's Best Friend. Well, the new album is her seventh album, which came out on Friday. I'm feeling a little mixed about it. I gave my review earlier because I was asked what my overall thoughts of it. Upon first listen, I was kind of like, it's all right. But I'm gonna give it a chance again when I'm like, when the dust has settled, all the hype is kind of like settled down or whatever. I'll give it a gander again and give my overall thoughts. Who knows? I might change my mind. So shout out to you, Coleman. Shout out to you, Sabrina. I definitely like the videos and stuff that she's been putting out. Some of the songs on the album, I will admit, is good. It's like some really good production, some silly, self-deprecating lyrics, some shady lyrics too. And Sabrina is definitely a bona fide superstar, so I could definitely see her lasting a long time with the music. And I love the fact that she is got love for the gays. I don't think it's put on. I don't think it's performative. I think she is the real deal when it comes to, that sort of thing. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding the hate that Coleman has been? Well, it seemed like it was only one hater, but I'm sure there was people out there making their little comments. And y'all do need to relax because Coleman is comfortable in his skin. He ain't got no problems out there being a homosexual man. He's living his truth. While you over here in the corner hating on social media with your little Twitter fingers. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, you said the video dropped on Friday at midnight alongside the album. I never watched Rocky Horror Picture Show, so I didn't catch the references. Well, child, you definitely need to see Rocky Horror Picture Show. That movie is so campy and so gay. And it's like the perfect. I watch it every year around Halloween. And one of my friends, Michael T, um, does a whole Rocky Horror thing every year. He plays Dr. Frankenfurter. So, yeah. But yeah, it was Friday because I was at City Field on Friday. I told you the days are blurred because I was there yesterday too. So it was like every other day I was at the Garden and every other day I was at City Field. So my days are blurred, yeah. In the picture was you said in the picture was the back of Pedro Pascal must drop out. Sabrina has a picture with a man whose back is towards the camera, and a lot of people think, oh, they think it's him. Do you think he's gonna be in the next video? We can't see the face, but the male model has a square head. A square head. Sabrina also changed the ending of the music video just a few hours ago to get more people to watch it again. I don't know how she edited it, but she did. Shell, maybe she had two versions ready to go. This is a top. This as a top, or is it making love and take my time with the dude, which is boring as hell? Wait, what? I am confused by this post. What does this mean? You said this as a top, or is it making love and take my time with the dude, which is boring as hell? Bottoms might like it, but I don't. Is that a lyric? And why would she be talking about bottoms and tops? Shell. All right, y'all. So let's see. Okay, let's get into our final topic, which is Chloe Grace Perez. And Hit Girl done got herself a woman. She's married now. In the words of Sophia, I's married now. So yeah, the actress was 28, and her wife who was actually 34 tied the knot over the weekend. So shout out to the Labor Day girls out here getting married and things. Um, I think I had to. Don't I have the name up in there? Oh yeah, Kate Harrison. That's her name. So they said a big part of the wedding is about sharing things that Kate and I love with everyone that's going to be there. This is what she told Vanity Fair. Oh, and sorry, it was Vogue actually. Um, Ahead of her wedding. So there's fishing, horseback riding, and poker. Okay, she is giving me Jodie Foster Bulldagger tease with all of this. Fishing, horseback riding, and poker. Kate made a custom poker mat herself, so we're going to kind of be leaning into it. Our second day is going to be line dancing and everything. The couple have kept their relationship largely private. Both wore wedding dresses, and after party looks designed by Louis Vuitton via per Vogue. In keeping with tradition, the brides didn't see each other's looks before the wedding, despite being in Paris at the same time for their fittings. Well, that was cute. The fact that, they were managed to keep a secret, but I'm like, I love that for them. So yeah, so let me make that small so that way you can see Chloe in her blue gown. So they said that Moretz chose an ice cream white custom jacket and trousers paired with the cowboy hat for her after party look. Her something blue was her light blue wedding dress and veil, which was accessorized with matching long gloves. She said, "It just feels like me," Moretz told Vogue. I never really envisioned a wedding dress in my mind growing up. So when we started talking about what that would look like, I knew I would do some non-traditional and not wear white and kind of have it feel different. And I think it really does. Meanwhile, Harrison wore a bodice and trousers with a sheer overlay on top with thin metallic spaghetti straps and covered buttons running down the front for her after party look. For her ceremony, she chose a traditional white wedding dress with a sweetheart neckline, birdcage veil in front, and a cathedral length veil in the back. Saying the thing I'm most excited for, other than being married, is at the first look moment. This is what she told Vogue before the wedding. Having no idea of what we look like in our dresses, it's going to be so special. This dress just kind of make you feel ready. This design is perfect. I'm ready. Moretz added that what she was most looking forward to about marriage is just being together. Say they've been together almost 7 years and making this promise to each other in a new way and exchanging these vows. I think it's important to just stay every day choosing each other. Well, that's great because didn't Hillary Clinton come out and say, "Oh, I need all the gays, they need to go out and get married." Because you know why we still got gay marriage, and you know the Trump and all is going to try to roll it back and all this other mess. But remember, it wasn't that long ago that wait, hold on. That what the hell's her name? Oh, Chloe. She used to date Brooklyn Beckham. They dated for a long time until she got with this new girl, Kate. But I'm glad she found love in a hopeless place. And they've been together for so long and they've been able to make it work. So yeah, they've been together since 2018 when they were spotted kissing at the celebrity hotspot Nobu in Malibu, California. First sparked engagement rumors when they were spotted with rings on their left hands during a day trip to Disneyland in Anaheim on April 26, 2024. Moretz's ring can be seen on her finger when she attended a Louis Vuitton event in Shanghai, China on April 22nd, 2024. In an Instagram carousel posted on January 1st, New Year's Day, the kick-ass star shared several photos from throughout 2024, one of which left fans raising their eyebrows. Her and Harrison at the beach with their fingers intertwined and diamond ring on each of their left ring fingers, seemingly confirming their engagement. She spotted the sparkler again on her left ring finger during Paris Fashion Week. The newlyweds prefer to keep their romance out of the spotlight. They said, "I like to keep my private life private. I'm in a long-term relationship and I really enjoy that." And that's great. Like, you know, as an actress, she's been able to keep her relationship under wraps. She hasn't made a big deal out of it. And I think that's great. There was like an even another photo that I had of her showing like the full length gown. She looked good in the full length gown. But yeah, if y'all want to see like all the photos and everything, definitely go over and check out Vogue. You know, Grace Moretz, her interview with Vogue, they got all the photos and stuff there. I actually like this look on her. It's giving me a little bit of Jennifer Lopez, or not Jennifer, Celine Dion. Did Celine Dion wear something like this? I don't think she wore a cowboy hat. Or wait, she wore the hat to the side, and then she had like the white top. It was like a backwards tuxedo type look. Actually, it kind of gives me that whole look with this one. So this definitely works on her. I've always liked Chloe ever since she was Hit Girl in Kick Ass. Quiet as it's kept, you can kind of see the bulldaggerness coming out of her. And certain isms she had, I was like, she gonna grow up to be a lesbian when she get older. Because she reminded me of a young Jodie Foster. And look at her now, out and proud. And we need it. We definitely need more representation in the, you know, from the entertainment world, so that way the community realizes that you can find your prince charming or your princess charming depending on what you know you like. So I'm here to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding what Chloe is talking? You know, Chloe's married. She then got married over the weekend, for Labor Day, and all that other stuff. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all. Hopefully, it lasts longer than the actual being together for 7 years. Hope you go on 7 years and beyond. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Honest is Born This Way would be more controversial if it was released today than in 2011. I advise all the long-term homosexuals to get hitched before it's too late. It definitely would, because she put that song out at a time when it was easy to be gay. It was more, I guess, open-minded in certain wheelhouses that she could put that out there, especially for the white gays. It was a different time. But now it's like, yeah, we were more tolerant and understanding. But now we're in this current climate. Everybody feels it's okay to be ignorant. Everybody feels it's okay to be a bigot. Everybody feels it's okay to discriminate against the other. And we need to change all that. Anyway, child, I can't believe even with this sickness, I still did 3 hours. I had salmon and some rice and vegetables before I went live with this show. So right now, after this, I'm gonna eat me something else. And I finally got my appetite back because with the past couple of days I've been sick. I ain't really been eating as much. But yeah, so we're at the end of the show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Definitely hit that like and subscribe button, all that good stuff. I'm gonna do a birthday show tomorrow because I know Wednesday I'm supposed to be doing a whole 9-inch nails thing. I got to get in contact with a friend of mine to see what's going on with that whole situation. But yeah, it's like he's going tomorrow and Wednesday, but he's taking somebody else, and then we're supposed to go on Wednesday. So I'm probably gonna do a birthday stream. Y'all can come hang out with me and all that good stuff. We'll do a show. You can throw me some happy birthday stuff up in the situation and all that good stuff. And then it led to the uprising because there's a lot of that because a lot of this younger generation, Gen Z, got sheltered during that period, with the internet and all. But yeah, love you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. And thank you for your continued support. And until next time, chapter.